get a discount on those? 'Cause they did both. Was it BOGO?
Just don't get too close, okay?
Lift your shirt. Lift your shirt up.
No, no. Okay. First, I want to complain about the fucking shirts that Jerry gives us because these are shit.
Why'd you get them done if you don't want anybody to see them?
They feel fine on my unpierced nipples. Kron?
Yeah, mine shirts feel fine, dude.
Yeah, I think logic dictates that the issue is with your nipples.
You guys are talking too loud.
Or perhaps
Also, I get that you got them done this morning, but that's a lot of blood, even for like a new thing.
I agree. I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
It's probably the lack of blood. Here's my follow-up.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Now, I'm only going on the indentations or the bumps that I'm seeing through the blood. You went with one barbell and one ring.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Can I have your big gulp?
No.
I don't want to drink it. I just want to.
I don't want to get germs, dude.
Wait.
I just want to hold it on there because.
Yeah, well, your shit's all infected.
It's not infected. I just got them done today. Come on.
You don't think germs can spread that fast?
It's a cup to a nip.
It's my cup. You should have stopped on the way in. You were already 30 minutes late because of this.
I told you I had an appointment.
And
I told you I had an appointment.
What tattoo and piercing place is open at 6:30 a.m.?
Look,
that's a good point.
You call the guy, he comes to your house.
Were they still open from the night before? Oh, he came to your house?
Yeah, he's just traveling.
God,
traveling piercer.
I wish he would have come to the store. I would have loved to have seen this. Kron,
would have been fun.
Do you want yours done?
No.
I'll pay.
I got his money.
Yeah, I'll pay.
This guy botched Dan, dude. I don't want this guy anywhere near me.
Don't know that. Maybe I was drunk and that's why I'm bleeding a lot.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Do we have any ice?
You would never work for Brad Wesley, dude, because he can't stand a bleeder.
Who? Is he like our new supervisor or something?
Come on, Dan. He's one of the bad guys from the movies we watched.
I don't know.
You remember?
You bleed too much. He's like, you bleed too much.
You're a bleeder. You bleed too easy. You beat the shit out of a guy.
Roadhouse. I got there.
That's a cool movie. I don't have $20. That's what it cost me for these, 20 a piece.
So $40.
Yeah.
And you tipped.
10. 5 and 5. It hurt. I was going to give him more, but it fucking hurt.
I can feel Kron, like the energy that he can't believe that you tipped.
Get your hand away, Kron.
Dude, he botched you.
Stop trying to fucking touch it.
Lift your shirt up.
Get back.
Show him to me.
Get back. Very sensitive.
Kron, let me mediate this. Kron, will you give him your big gulp if he lifts his shirt?
No, dude, the big gulp is full. I don't want him
so you're not that serious about
getting his
lifting
nipple
his shirt.
germs all over it.
Dan, I will give you my big gulp.
He's gonna drip pus into the straw. You gonna drink it after that?
I will pour my Code Red onto your tip, the tips of your tits, if necessary. If that cools you off, buddy.
I mean, are they hot?
Are they gonna? It's gonna look fucking cool when it's.
You're
like
sweating
up, right?
like fucking crazy.
Just tell me it's gonna look cool, please.
Lift your shirt, and we'll tell you if it looks cool or not.
All right, you guys want to really see him?
Yeah.
All right, here.
Kron, you pull the left one, I'll pull the right one.
Oh Christ, dude!
They're up a little bit. A lot.
I thought the barbell would have been harder to grab, but no,
It's still in there, though.
Yeah, you still had plenty. Oh. Wow, I just twisted it. I didn't pull it off. Not a monster.
I got strong nips.
Okay, everybody quit moving. I can't find my turquoise ring. Dan, Check around the hoop, dude.
I'm just going to say it's staying.
Damn it.
This week on 5-Day Rentals, The Game. Welcome, everybody, to 5-Day Rentals podcast. We are the video store podcast. Tonight, I have the pleasure of putting an end to the fifth Puppets Revenge / New Moon category with another great puppet movie for you. I'm Laundry Dan. I'll be taking you through The Game tonight from 1997, directed by some guy named David Fincher. I can't do it alone. Of course, I'm here with two guys that still use the fake name Seymour Butts. It's Kron and Bones. How are you guys?
Neither one of you has said the name of this category the right way.
Revenge
5.
Revenge of Puppets Revenge.
Revenge of Puppets Revenge / New Moon.
Was that so hard?
That's what I said.
For me. Sorry, I'm flying high from this crystal meth that I bought from a golf course restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Or gentleman's club restaurant. Or sports club restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on crystal meth.
Did you buy it from the maitre d'?
I think so. He had kind of a weird fucked up coat on. And he kept telling people where they could and couldn't sit. But it was also a steam room, so that was weird that there was a maitre d' in a steam room.
You know they jerk off into your food at those places?
I do now. Good thing I can't afford to eat there. Not after I buy the meth.
Kron just pointed to a cigarette burn on his skin.
Mm-hmm. I got some new friends.
Yeah?
You do?
We've been going on like night missions.
Is this a thing you can't talk about?
I'm not supposed to talk about it.
So you probably shouldn't talk about it.
Actually, the first 2 rules are that I can't talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Kron, check this out. I'm also a member.
I'm in the same club, dude.
I haven't seen you guys there.
I go on Fridays.
I'm a Tuesday.
I go on Thursdays.
Fuck.
We should link up.
I don't know. People fucking sense that we got a thing going. You don't want to click inside of this type of group. You get too clicky and the head guy will kind of beat the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
He gets jealous.
I don't want to fight Bones.
You're so handsome. He would really want to break you.
I'm just too blonde.
The Game, man.
Gentlemen, David Fincher, first time on the pod. Feels good, right?
I mean, under a different category, it would have felt good.
All right, Kron. Let's hear it.
It's not a puppet movie. It's not. I don't even think the wooden thing counts as a puppet.
It's the same thing as
show?
Pin.
It's a puppet show.
Pin had agency. That's blink and you miss it, dude.
Of the wooden clown, he shows up multiple times to the movie.
No, Bones said the little puppets. That's blink and you miss it kind of
Still in
stuff.
there. Still counts.
The wooden one, he doesn't even do anything.
He pushes the story forward.
He's
the one that
got a key in his mouth.
Yeah, he pushes all the mischief that happens through this movie. Plus, our main character is a puppet.
Yeah, dude.
I'm hitting this on multiple levels.
Yeah, he's
You
subverting
know what?
expectations.
At least this category has taught me that I'm a puppet in the 5-day rentals world, dude. A couple guys just pulling my strings, ruining my day.
I'm going to take that as a compliment that I am doing a lot of the work and you simply
Whatever.
get to rest and get manipulated.
Yeah, I've been getting manipulated, all right.
I'm just going to say we've been trying to cut these strings for a long time, but you will not let us.
Well, somebody pulls my hand up and slaps the scissors away. I'm not controlling it.
You got to admit, though, this has been a wild category. Pin Pinocchio, the game.
Yeah,
That's a fun spread, man.
Doesn't make much sense.
I think that's the fun of doing the categories, though.
It's fine. Hey, I've already said I said my piece last week.
And
There's gonna be
did-
repercussions.
Oh man, did I as well. I did not remember most of what I said until the next day when editing. I was like, God damn, could I have been any more drunk?
Did you like it?
What I said?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was kind of surprised at how somewhat cohesive it was, having been pulled out of my ass, but I think I have the opposite problem of Dan. I get more drunk when I'm leading an episode.
I get less drunk and it sucks.
I don't know. I don't know. I can take you through this if you want. Send your notes over.
We should at some point, like when we met up in person, Dan was like, I didn't want to cover the edge because there's way too much plot and it's really just guys get away from a bear. But then the next category, you pick the game, which is arguably 2 hours of nothing but plot.
I take different notes than you guys. I mean, I'm the David Fincher. I'm just a detailed guy.
It just seems like this is
the numbers
harder.
don't lie that people like the way that you eat it. I don't know.
Oh, I haven't had an episode over 100 downloads in months. So I've been failing.
Well, you'll get them back with this one.
Nah. Edge is doing pretty good. I'll say that. Actually, the whole Nashville spread's doing pretty good. So thank you, listeners. Tell your friends.
I think that this is one of 3 possible Finchers that you put 5-star bangers aside that could be on this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alien 3, The Game, Panic Room. I think after that, I think you run into, somebody kind of nodding their head if you were to select something, right? I will say, Gone Girl, I wasn't that big of a fan of Gone Girl.
Yeah, I would think a lot of his later stuff.
But I feel like
after Zodiac seems like you could pick just about anything. And
oh, you would think that? I think it kind of is in a sort of too prestige-y sort of element. It's like RoboCop on for Verhoeven would be tricky. And to clarify, that was me thinking like, oh, Dan's going to give Zodiac a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Social Network a 5. You're probably getting... No.
No, I'm not a fan.
Okay. Well, let me put your fucking nipple ring back in. I'm sorry, dude. I apologize.
I think I'm a 4 on Social Network. And that might just be Resner's score that bumps it another.
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
It's
I like Social Network.
Gone Girl, I don't even remember what I was on that. I know I wasn't a 5 on that.
I'm only a 5 on 2 of his. And they're
Zodiac and 7.
Sorry.
7 and Fight Club.
Yeah. I was the right age at Fight Club. I was just the right age. And I was conscious enough to know, like, oh, I take this one step further. All these people around me that love it like it for the wrong reason. They don't get it like I do. Like, I'm aware that I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it got very... I mean, that one did get co-opted by, like, film bro culture.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. I'd agree with you. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know if I'd be a 5 on it. I think Zodiac for sure. I'd probably give that a 5 too, Dan.
Thank you, Kron. I appreciate that.
I recall it could have been 2 years ago. We were talking about Kubrick's The Killing and how much I loved that. I was like, fuck, I wish he would have knocked out a few more of these before he started to get too extreme and, perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about Fincher. Because for me, if I watch the fucking Social Network or Gone Girl, and there's like all the tales and stories about 100 takes and everything has to be perfect, I don't see that. That doesn't register to me. But what does register to me is probably more stuff like, that run from 7 on up until like the Panic Room is 2001?
99 maybe?
Well, that was Fight Club, right?
Oh, that was Fight Club. Yeah. Maybe 2002.
So like
maybe?
that pace, I feel like I'd be more in line to find some 5s in there.
I think we'll get Panic Room. I've looked at it a few times. Like, should I bring this one? But we'll get there. You never seen Panic Room, Kron?
No. I think that's the only... Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the only Fincher I've never seen any of. I never finished Mank, so...
Neither have I.
But I've seen all the others. And, more or less enjoy them. Maybe I could exclude Benjamin Button from the enjoyable category, but I think everything else, he's a director I really like, so if he had a new movie out tomorrow, I'd try to go see it,
You wouldn't have to worry about it. It'd be on Netflix.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I think his next one is going to be Netflix.
I think even still, it is like, I feel the same way. Like, I connect with his earlier movies a lot more, but even with what I consider to be like misses later in his career, if he had a new movie coming out, I would try to watch it, It's like the downturn has not like sullied me on seeing his movies.
Yeah, he's never gotten himself into jail.
Yeah, and I don't think he's like, even The Killer I thought was like okay. I wouldn't say it was bad, I watched it. I thought aspects of it were interesting, but I don't know, it wasn't as good as Fight Club or 7, but I don't know. It's fine.
I like that Killer movie. It's pretty good. Need to watch it again. Gentlemen, the game is from 1997. It is sitting at a 3.8 for a Letterboxd user review rating. Sorry. Would you like to kindly rate my box, please?
Dan, I'm going to put you at a 4.0.
I'm going to take a swing here. 4.5.
4.5.
All right, we'll find out at the end of this episode. Gentlemen, any other thoughts about the game, Mr. Fincher, before we crack open this super easy plot? It's just a 90-minute thrill ride.
Bones, you said it had been a while since you had seen this?
Yeah.
Did you remember like all the twists and turns? as you were like watching it over again?
I remember, did it make it on the show? Or was it after when I talked about seeing this on an airplane?
Yes.
That was on the episode.
Okay. So I watched a lot of this on an airplane, particularly the end, and pieced it together like, oh, they were messing with him. Then a few years later, I probably watched this on VHS by myself, sort of knowing that it was going to work itself out, was trying to key in and see all of those, the fun of a rewatch of a movie like this is to try to figure out like, oh, that's Zettel, or that's the guy from this, or, oh, the guy at the end who has him sign the bill is the guy from the airport with the pin, that sort of stuff. But watching it again this week, I wasn't even focused on much of the mystery. I was just focused on like how fucking lonely this guy's life was, like the self-imposed decisions of not going to functions, the purposeful, I'm not going to answer my wife's phone call, so I force her to call me 20 minutes before midnight. Like, I was like, wow, do I relate to this shit? Way more than I did when I was fucking 13 watching this on an airplane. So, yeah, like the loneliness is really what set out. Because after hearing Fincher talk about, his philosophy that people are shitty and they don't change, it's like, okay, so now when you watch any of his movies, you can just see that so glaringly. What about you? Did you remember all of the twists?
I watched this a while ago when I got the Criterion Blu-ray. Watched it with my wife. So for this one, I definitely knew kind of a lot of the twists and turns, but I don't know if it necessarily like hurts on rewatch if you kind of know what the plot's doing, I feel like you can kind of pay attention to smaller details or like pick out a few more things. So I don't know. It almost seems like a movie that should only work one time, but I don't get bored with it on rewatches. So I don't know.
Do you think that's the craft, Dan?
Yeah. I want to, it's cliche, but I probably, soundtrack maybe gets you. It always got me. I know, like when I first watched it, I was like, this is awesome. Like the tinkering with the keys and shit. I don't know. Is it kind of like Shutter Island? Like the second time you watch it, you kind of see. Like you could, on some rewatches this time around, you pay attention to like maybe the cops, and they kind of like give a wide eye, or like the ambulance part and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it still sucks you in.
Yeah.
Like I think the idea of the game is just so interesting to me that it doesn't bum me to rewatch the movie. Like it's so far outside of the realm of what's realistic that it's like, I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, I think I'd fucking crush the game, dude.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you like, I don't know. You're like, man, they could do this. And what about this like scenario?
It feels like that whole thing of if you know you're dreaming, then it becomes a lot more fun in a way. It's like, if I knew I'd signed up for this thing and then a bunch of weird shit started happening, I would just be like, fuck yeah, dude, this, like, I'm in this shit now,
But isn't the genius of the game how they then flip it back onto him, where the multiple times that it becomes like, oh, it's not just for fun, it's all a setup. Like,
yeah,
the multiple times that it loops through. So
yeah, but I think I would fucking crush it, dude.
But you don't have any control, though.
I don't think they would get to me like that. It also does seem like a game that's for the top 1% of the top 1%. Like, what? They're going to drain my bank account? Okay.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Well, and I hate to make generalizations, but I feel like those are the guys that are always into like S&M sort of shit, right? Like they like to be dominated and pissed on, and like there's this weird control factor because their everyday lives, they are top dog.
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while they like to be, like to have their fucking face, I don't know,
Punched.
yeah, whatever. I was
A
going to
punch
get way,
is not where my mind went to.
yeah, I was going to get much
Punched
Much
sexually
nastier.
with urine.
Yeah.
The thing that popped out to me to bring it back, well, I want to touch back on what you said, Dan, about Shutter Island, because I knew that you're very much a big proponent of Shutter Island. First time I watched it, I was like, it was all right. Hearing you talk about it, being like, you got to watch this, you got to watch his eyes, you got to watch Ruffalo looking at him. So the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, Dan's on to something. That one, to me, benefited from a rewatch. This one, I was less interested in the moving pieces of the game because you already have to suspend so much disbelief for the ending to remotely make sense. I do like how the one guy comes up and says, thank God you jumped, because if you didn't, I was supposed to throw you off. I liked the little hint of, that there's these different pathways that they have to take or whatever. The thing that stuck to me on instead of the moving pieces was just how visceral the emotional cues were in the game.
Yeah.
Like basically saying, nothing is off the table. We're going to bring up your dad's suicide.
That's like that's step one of the game.
Yeah. But and the fact that he's got a lawyer that he can call. He does call some police. The police, I'm assuming, are in on it, right? The lawyer she turns it around, is like, no, he's fucking in on it or whatever. Dude's got fucking nobody. And when I was trying to think, like, how would I do in the game? It's like, no, I have nobody. Like, I needed to put something super heavy into my truck a few weeks ago, and I had nobody to call. I like stood in my front yard like, wow, there is nobody on my street that I could ask. Like, I would be absolutely fucked in this. I would hope that some hot blonde was with me, but
You can't call Kron because he's like, it's the fucking game, dude.
yeah. You're ruining the game.
I think if either of you ask me for anything, I'm just going to assume it's the game and not get involved.
Hey, Kron, we're almost there, but we broke down, man. We got a flat tire. Okay.
Sounds
Good
like
luck.
the game. Yeah.
Check your glove box, which is full of keys, no doubt.
Yeah. Kron breaks his cell phone in half, grabs his go bag, and takes off. Nope. Not stealing my $600 million.
I think even if you didn't have someone, though, the game would give you someone, right? I mean, that's the whole lady that they insert into the plot is just part of the game. Like, they will give you all the side characters you need to get through the game.
I guess my thought, or what I was trying to get at, was like, who are they going to get to like work against me or whatever? It's like, okay, I'm sure you pay Sam enough money and send her to Europe. She'll be like, yeah, let him play his fucking game. But for the most part, it would just be strangers that I would be dealing with.
I'd be like, why is Dan here on a Tuesday?
Yeah, something's up.
We start with old family footage of some rich people celebrating a birthday party. This is actually Nikki's birthday party.
You think Succession just ripped this off, like whole cloth?
Pretty much.
Did you guys finish that show?
I got like I'm on like the last episode of season 2. We've never pushed forward.
I finished it. I don't really think Like, if you didn't watch season 3, you're not really missing much. Was that the last one? 3?
I thought it went
Okay.
4. It only went
Did
3.
it go 4? I thought it went 3.
All right. Whatever the last season is, if you didn't watch it, you'd be fine.
Maybe it did go 4. I don't fucking know.
So I only watched 3 episodes of the first season. Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
season 1's pretty good.
I could tell you like who wins at the end if you want to know that, but it's just
I truly
like that,
don't care.
That's literally the whole reason to watch the last season.
None of them
is to like figure out who succeeds, you know?
Who takes over Fox News?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, we got a lot of footage of Nicholas's dad here. We start to hear some financial news reports. This cuts to our main character.
Good job
Nick.
on the casting of his dad. Guy certainly looked like Michael Douglas.
I thought it was his dad at first. Does anyone know who that actually is?
Kirk Douglas?
Yeah.
No, not his dad. The actual actor.
Spartacus?
Playing his...
No. That's another like famous guy.
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
Don't make me choose. I'll shoot both of you.
Never seen Spartacus.
Okay, I'm Spartacus then. You've never seen Spartacus? It's a Kubrick movie, dude.
Not really.
Yeah, it is.
It is, but it's not.
All right, I've seen all of Kubrick's movies.
So have I.
You've not seen Spartacus.
He doesn't consider it one of his movies. So
He's got his name on the fucking thing.
If he doesn't consider it, I'm not watching it.
All right, fine.
Anyway, the guy that plays his father is, yes, a famous actor, I guess. Voice actor. That's the voice of Mario. It's me, Mario.
Wild.
It's a true story.
They got a video game guy to be in a game movie, dude.
It's the fucking game, dude. All right,
That's smart. That's smart casting.
He started with doing Mario's voice with Type with Mario. You guys, did you ever do that in school? Like when you learned typing?
No, we had Mavis Beacon.
And then, of course, he got cut for God's favorite son, Chris Pratt, for the Super Mario movie last year.
I had this game where you would you were a big set of teeth and you would chomp stuff.
Does it have Mario in it?
No, it was just like a teeth thing. Maybe chomp all the shapes. Click around and chomp them.
This is like Atari or Nintendo?
This was like in school. I had this in elementary school.
So
And words would flash really quick when you were playing it. Submit. Stuff like that.
Submit? What?
Yeah, and if I got all the shapes, I got like a little cracker.
is that why you have so many cavities now?
Yes.
You eat a cracker every time you type up something?
Yeah.
Finish that email.
Well, not that I type something, but every time I'm like, oh, that's a square, I'm like, oh, I should get a little treat.
Is this with any shape?
And then I get scared because, fear would pop up.
I think my sophomore year, I took word processing as like a blow off. And in hindsight, it was a good move, right? Because I can type okay now. But the instructor for that, I don't know if you guys remember, guy was like mid-40s, crisp, super athletic, but I think he was in the Army Reserves. So periodically he would take off, and the substitute that this guy would get is this big fat guy, rotund belly, giant glasses. And because he didn't want to come in and mess up anything, he would just call out prompts. So for 40 minutes, you would just sit there and he would go, AS space, colon, S, F, shift 1 space. And I was, yeah, he'd sit there for 4. And so I was in this class with a bunch of burnouts. But when he would fucking walk through the door, everybody would just start going like FAT space, SUCK space, DICK space. And it was one of those things, you know, when you have like a weird connection with somebody, like they're not really a friend, but you're next to them and you have this classroom buddy or work buddy or something, and you just sort of develop an inside joke with them that it's the one thing that you guys connect with once a week or whatever. So I won't say his last name, but this guy named Chris, whenever I would see him, he would just be like, DF space. I'd be CV space. And we'd lose our shit. But
I think he was my same buddy in an English class, and we would get into lots of trouble.
It's weird. Some guys are just a lot of people's like inside joke buddy. Like you don't feel like they have the mental capacity to be a real friend, but they at least have enough sense of humor to share that one thing with. And you develop early on, you think like, oh, that'd be a great friend. And then you realize like, oh no, there's nothing deeper than AF space. So we'll just leave it at that.
Years later, I would go to a Deftones concert and sit down and sit through the opening act and go to the bathroom after the opening act before the Deftones came on. And he was like, Dan? Sat right next to the guy at the Deftones show. I was like, holy shit, Chris. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Tattoo artist now. Not Danny Duck. By the way, fuck you, Danny.
That substitute was actually like the ticket taker that Chris guy told me. So when he like showed him his ticket and he was like, do you need help finding your section? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, what section are you in? And he went, 3C space, 4C space.
All right, we start to hear a financial news report. We cut to Michael Douglas, our main character. He's Nicholas. We're present day here. He's getting ready for work in the morning. He has some breakfast, and then he drives to work through beautiful downtown San Francisco.
Dan, are you just going to blow over the 2.5 seconds of puppet footage that are in this movie?
There are some puppets in the old family footage that we see.
Yeah, that's it for the movie. I think you should at least mention it for the category.
So thank you. I do get credit for the category of a puppet movie here. There's also going to be a doll coming up as well.
I'll give you an F+.
What do you give Bones?
F+. All right, D-.
You literally said when I announced this category, that's how you make a puppet pick, Dan.
Yeah, because I like the movie, not because it's got a puppet in it.
That's how you make a puppet pick. You told me that.
Yeah, because it's a good movie.
I was making you proud.
You're pulling my strings, dude. F+, D-. Done.
Am I going to get to grade you guys for my categories now? Is that where we're going to start?
No, that's only for puppet stuff, which we'll never do again. So,
at the office, we get Nick delivering some ruthless big business office talk and having a total I'm an important man attitude towards his secretaries. One of them comes in saying his ex-wife's on the line. We learn that it's Nick's birthday today. He says, take a message. But he is very intrigued when his secretary says that there's a message left by a Seymour Butts, and he wants to have lunch with him. He tells his secretary to book a reservation. Make sure it's under my name. I don't want the Seymour Butts. That's pretty good.
It would have been funny if he was like, we're closing a huge deal in China with Mr. Butts.
We're sorry, Mr. Van Orton. Mr. Butts hasn't showed up yet.
I mean, Seymour is a very aristocratic name, so.
It's a rich guy's name, yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably been a real Seymour Butts in the history of people.
Probably the 40s, yeah. And it kind of stopped. Probably like 56 or so. There's Seymours, but... There's Seymour, Missouri.
It was Butt Sniffer at Ellis Island, but they made him shorten it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody didn't want to write all that out.
He's like, this is another one, Seymour Butt Liquor? I'm like, dude. All right, just put Butts. Later that day at the restaurant, Conrad shows up. This is, anybody recognize this guy?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, an American hero. He makes his entrance by spraying Nick with a spray bottle and pretending to sneeze. What a jokester.
I don't know who originally tweeted it, but there's a photo of Sean Penn, and the caption is, Sean Penn looks like all three Stooges.
I think I've seen that one. It's true.
What were you going to say, Kron?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the casting of these two as brothers is pretty good. They both have kind of like a little bit of a Weasley look about them at times.
I think Penn is pretty good at this, what he has.
Mm-hmm.
He's memorable.
You need somebody with balls here. Sean Penn's got fucking massive balls, dude.
Huge balls, no hair. He's Hollywood.
Just a little acorn of a shaft, but massive balls.
He has a medium-sized wink, I think.
Have you seen it?
I don't know. You judge this on every man you see.
You do?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, yeah.
You're like, yeah, small dick on that guy.
To each their own.
It's a shame.
What's the indicator on that? Truck nuts?
It's the same, babe. It's a shame we can't hang out with him. He got a small dick. You seen his dick? No. I could tell.
You don't want to... I guess it's like chess. You only get better by playing better players. You don't want to be around small dicks.
No. You don't need small dick energy. 5DR has specifically been large, huge dick energy since day one that we started.
Yeah.
That's a promise we're going to keep to our listeners till we stop.
Well, you peek behind the curtain. Now people will realize why we have so few guests, because Dan requires photo verification, and so anybody that's been a guest on the show has passed his test.
With a ruler in the frame. Because it's easy to make it look big.
Well, yeah, we used to do Coke cans, but then they came out with those mini Cokes, and I don't want to call out the guy who tried to pull that shit.
But you know who you are.
You know who you are. Seymour Butts. I'll never get tired of that one, Nick says. That's why it's a classic, says Conrad. Conrad says, it's a nice place. I think I've been here before.
Did you notice that he picks up like a water bottle, like a spray bottle from like a cleaning cart or something, and that's how he does the fake sneeze?
Yeah.
That's a solid commitment to the bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's a crime of opportunity, you know?
Yeah, but some poor like minimum wage worker is now. Where's my fucking Windex?
The right side of Kron's hair is still blonde when I did that from Smashville. He's pissed.
Well, you were like, oh, this is my 90th sneeze in a row. And you just kept going.
Yeah, you had peroxide, bleach, and ammonia in a bottle, which you're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just want to say, Kron, the frosted tips look great.
Look, he's still got hair, dude. I don't care what color it is. After you made mustard gas and covered my head in it.
Dude,
Nick says,
I saw the fucking Wienermobile today.
oh, right on.
Yeah.
How'd you feel?
Congrats, dude.
Here's the deal. I saw it within 5 minutes of seeing Bigfoot.
Like the real Bigfoot?
Yeah,
or?
driving past Pacific. You know
Oh,
where
right
that
on.
Bigfoot's out there? Yeah. It's like, wow, I must have been a good boy. Seeing Bigfoot and the Oscar Mayer hot dog truck. That's a truck, man. That ain't no car.
I think it's just a mobile. I don't think it has like any kind of
All right,
classification.
kids, get in the mobile.
Has anybody put truck nuts on the Wienermobile?
Does it have a hitch? I mean, can you?
It's got to have a hitch, right?
What are they pulling?
More hot dogs?
I mean, it's so weird.
A smaller Wienermobile?
It's so weird that the Wienermobile makes you like. It's like a joyous, like, oh shit, look at that. Like,
yeah.
It makes you instantly feel better.
I think.
Kron, have you ever seen the Wienermobile?
Because it's.
I think I've seen it like twice out on the open road.
I see it a lot.
I think my excitement is when I see
when you close your eyes. Sorry, Bones. Go ahead.
No, you're all right. Yours was better. I was just going to say it's one thing to see it in a parking lot, and you're like, oh, there's the Wienermobile. There's another when it's traveling amongst tractor trailers and F-150s and Toyotas. You know, it's just like the cars that you're so used to, and then there's this random novelty thing doing 70. It's fucking weird.
Do you have to be like a happy dude or lady to drive that? Because people are going to be like, oh, shit. You can't just be like, fucking traffic.
Yeah. You probably have a CRS style psych test that you have to take before you're allowed to drive that.
Nothing like just blocking off the Wienermobile so you can get a good picture and they just pass you by and just give you those hot dog hands from everything all at once, every time, everywhere. It's that fucking middle finger. Because they got to wear those now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
Everything all the time, everywhere?
Anytime.
Anytime, everywhere?
Everything, anywhere, everything all at once over there, anytime.
Yeah, I've seen it.
What the fuck would they call the sequel? All right, we gotta go. Nick says, I brought you here once. Conrad says, no, I used to buy crystal meth from the maitre d' back in college. Nick asks, what brings Conrad to town? He says, I was just laying on the beach in Ibiza and I clicked. October 12th is Nikki's birthday. Actually, it's October 11th. Whatever says Conrad. The way he delivers that, like, whatever. It's pretty good. Conrad pulls a card out and hands it to Nick. He opens it to reveal another card with the letter CRS written on it. What do you get the man that has everything? Our character here, Nick, is a multimillionaire, a very successful businessman.
I'd say he's a billionaire.
And nowadays, yes, he's a billionaire.
You don't think this guy's got like... He's got like Bezos money.
Not right now, but our 97 is still millions, but right now it's probably in the billions, yeah.
What's the number that they say 600 million?
I thought they said just multi-million.
Well, 600 million would be a multi-million.
I thought if you just had 2 million, that's multi-million.
Yes. That was the first guy to get to $2 million was like, I'm a multi-millionaire, because he still wanted to seem better than other millionaires.
Yeah.
So if we get 3 million, we could say we're triple millions.
Tremillionaire.
Tremillionaire.
That's a rapper, right?
No, that's Cub-millionaire.
Okay. Damn, how much does he have?
Probably
Quad.
a few million. Even he's a multi-millionaire. He only had one song. Trying to catch me riding dirty.
I still hear people playing that loudly as they drive around.
On Spotify, and he gets 1.5 cents for each play.
That version or the Weird Al version?
White and nerdy.
Yeah. Is that what you're hearing in Nashville, Kron?
Has your wife's ever said?
I don't think so.
Been like weirded out that you know a lot about Weird Al?
Well, I don't know that much about him. How much do you know about Weird Al?
I mean, I know Bad Hair Day. I could sing that whole album.
Here's his address. Here's the video feed I have of his house.
Yeah, I could probably do the alternative polka from Bad Hair Day.
Yeah.
I think
my wife just thinks that's so weird that like I listened to that. I'm like, it's awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I think I had Bad Hair Day, Running with Scissors, and there's like an early one that I had, and I can't remember the name of it.
It's probably the first one where he's like laying in bed. It has fat on it.
No, it was like the album cover was
Road.
like him in the corner, and then it's kind of like space behind him or something. I'll look it up and I'll tell you what the title was.
All right, Nikki, he opens up this card. It reveals CRS to him. Consumer Recreation Services, says Nick as he reads the card aloud. Conrad says, just call the number. He says, why?
It was Dare to Be Stupid.
I don't think I had that one. It will make your life fun, says Nick. Nick says, is this an escort service? Conrad says, no, it's a profound life experience. They do have some issues with their waitress here. Conrad makes Nick ensure him that he will call. He says that it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. Nick asks if he's still on his medication. Conrad's like, why would you even ask that? I'm doing fine. I feel great.
Did you write this entire scene verbatim?
It's an important scene, dude.
I don't know. You have
Nick
every line of
apologizes.
dialogue.
You're the one talking about Weird Al.
We've been on this scene for 55 minutes now.
We've sidetracked 9 times. All right, Nick apologizes for that.
It's a good thing we started an hour early.
It's true.
We are on track.
I hate surprises. The restaurant staff sings Nick happy birthday to Conrad's delight.
But not his waitress.
No, the waitress isn't there. There's actually another guy that shows up that you'll see later on as well. Nick drives home. We get some flashbacks of memories of his father from the same movie footage that we see at the beginning of the movie. Shows him standing on a roof. Nick sees his housekeeper. He says he's seen
Dan,
Conrad.
That's actually his mom.
No, that's his housekeeper.
Dan,
Kron.
I think you might be mistaken, dude. And kind of weird of you to assume that.
Kron's a pro at this because he too went through this issue. So
I've been in your shoes, dude. Only difference between you and me was I picked the puppet movie.
yeah, never trust a man who hasn't made a mistake.
Audience, go back to our episode on Penn to see how wrong Kron really was. She does ask how Conrad is. I think he's in one of them self-improvement cults or something, he says. She says, "We'll send him my love and happy birthday." He ignores that. Nick has a lovely cheeseburger and a very scrumptious-looking chocolate cupcake for his meal that night.
Not
Chats
enough French fries for old Bonesy.
Like a good burger, though.
Burger looked good.
Excellent burger, good solid size, heft to that burger. Maybe it's just my appetite. It was about half the required amount of French fries for me.
Well, maybe he's having the cupcake that night, so she just did little fries to make room for the cupcake.
Yeah, he is also 100 pounds lighter than I am, so and that could be why. The guy's smart, selective with his trans fats.
You trying to tell me you could take Michael Douglas?
Any fucking point in his life.
Oh, god damn. Yeah, I think I'd bet Bones.
Yeah.
He chats with his ex-wife. We learn that he's turning 48. This was the age that his father died as well. Nick looks at the CRS card, lays back and has some more flashbacks of his father jumping off the roof of the house and commits suicide. The next morning, Nick makes the trip to the CRS office, which is still under construction. He meets with Jim Finnegold, who is an engineer at CRS. Jim takes Nick in. He starts processing him through the CRS system. He gets on the computer. We learn that Conrad was a client, and he did great numbers with the London office. Jim has Nick fill out paperwork.
He keeps trying to give him, like, Chinese food, too.
Oh,
Is that just...
He needs him to remember that place.
Best Chinese food in town.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, I noticed on the rewatch, specifically with him mentioning the brother, that was a cool little dig to be like, well, your brother did really well.
Yeah.
Like to kind of, I forget this actor's name. I meant to look it up, but god damn is he fucking good in this.
Mm-hmm.
James Rebhorn?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
He's in Carlito's Way, Kron.
Oh.
And Independence Day. He's the Secretary of State, or Secretary of Defense, one of the two in Independence Day.
Yeah, I can kind of picture him in Carlito's Way, but I can't remember like what his character is.
Some of the questions on this paperwork is: do you feel guilty when you masturbate?
I do.
Gentlemen?
Yeah. That
Not
nobody else is
during,
around to see this. I feel
Not
bad
during,
that I'm
but
keeping it
after.
to myself.
No, just film it, dude.
Why? I'm already on the podcast.
Yeah, we got that
And
one mixed up.
nobody
one time.
ever
It was
reaches out to
weird.
ask us to be guests. So I've got the videos ready.
Nick asks what this is all about.
You think that would kill the podcast numbers if that was the requirement?
Nah, it'd go up. Skyrocket.
Okay.
If what? If we made people masturbate?
If you had to have a particular penis size to be a podcaster. The joke was that there's a lot of podcasts.
We're the only podcast ever.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're certainly the only movie podcast that's covered a Fincher movie within the last year.
I haven't heard any other ones. Nick asks what CRS is all about. What are you selling? Jim's tickled by this. He says it's a game. It's tailored to each person based off the data they provide. We provide what's lacking in your life. Nick gets a little upset. He wants to know the specifics of all this. Jim interrupts and says, you got to admit it's intriguing, right? Jim says, look, fill out the stupid forms, do the test, and you can drop out at any time. You'll either love it or hate it. Nick asks how long it's going to take. Jim's like 2 hours. Nick smiles, signs the forms. He goes through all the testing, which is pretty much takes the whole day. He's very annoyed by this.
It goes on forever. When they're doing the physical, he's wearing a wife beater on the treadmill.
He's rich.
I can't do them.
I believe we say it A-frame now, Kron.
All right, an A-frame.
No,
Wife beater.
Okay, so all right. I guess I've been overruled.
Do you guys wear them? I can't wear them. They're uncomfortable.
Too tight.
I'll do an undershirt under like a button-up, but I can't do what's catching your pit sweat? Nothing.
I agree.
Your underwear.
It just doesn't seem like a practical, like all the sweaty parts are just open anyway. You might as well wear no shirt at that point.
Yeah, I think the only people wearing them at this point are people trying to add a little extra padding for the sake of their nipple piercings.
Let me write this down. A-frame shirts.
Don't send me a pack of A-frame shirts. I personally,
extra large.
I think it's a lean man's game or a real big beer belly game. I think anywhere in between, like with me, it's just not comfortable. And I love wearing a tank top. I've come around on a gym tank last few years. But I'm with you, Kron. Can't do it.
Anti-A-frame here.
Or
5DR.
Now's the time to say wife beater. We're anti-wife beating.
No, Kron. You never know. Sometimes you just gotta...
No. Dan is joking.
What the fuck you say to me?
This is humor.
You know who I am? Who pays the fucking bills in this?
What a stupid... Why would you ask your wife if she knows who you are?
Maybe you're married to the lady from The Notebook, Kron?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you should not be hitting her then. Remember, she's dementia.
I'm married to the actress. She's still good.
Don't say it.
Hey, don't you not remember shit?
Don't say it. Move on.
I just want to say I'm pro-union, anti-wife beating, and anti-punching people with dementia.
Move on.
We get a montage of Nick taking all these tests. Jim finally comes back in. He says, sign the insurance form. It's pretty much his contract for the game for Nick here. He makes a nice little, make sure you sign it in blood joke here. Later that day, Nick plans a dinner with Conrad. It says that he stopped by CRS, and they seem pretty disorganized. Later that day at the gym, Nick plays some stickball, and he overhears some of the fellow gym rats talking about CRS.
The movie does a lot. Oh, please, Kron, go.
It's got to be squash, right, that he's playing? That's a rich guy sport.
Squash or racquetball.
Yeah.
Is he playing by himself, though?
That was what I was going to mention, was the fact that he is playing that game by himself, which is usually a 2 or 4 player thing. And even though he's the member of this club and could probably play with somebody, it's adding on the solitary life that he has chosen.
All right, after his solo racquetball workout, he does see two new gentlemen at the bar, and he tries to pry some information out of them about CRS and the game. But these guys don't really give anything up. One of them makes an exit, and the other leans in and says, "You really want to know what it's all about?" He gives Nick a Bible quote. John chapter 9, verse 25. "Bow your heads, gentlemen. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see."
This was 97?
Mm-hmm.
Shocking that he didn't read Austin 3:16.
Don't know.
The next day at a meeting, Nick gets a phone call on his cellular telephone. It's 1997. This dude is loaded. He has a cell phone in 97.
With hands-free control in the steering wheel.
It's a Beamer. It's CRS. They say his application has been rejected. Later that evening, he tries to call Conrad and leaves a message that he's busy. He's too busy to commit to his birthday gift. As he speeds up his driveway, he suddenly stops because there's something laying in the driveway. It looks like a person. He gets out. He has a little flashback of his father's death, of him laying on the pavement there after he jumped. Nick investigates. It turns out to be a life-size clown doll.
Would it be pavement? That seems a little fucking cheap for these rich folks. Probably like an Italian pea stone or something,
Cobblestone, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, not cobblestone. It's got that sort of grit.
It's probably
to it.
some fancy. It's probably something I don't even know about.
Yeah, it's like the type
rich
of
people.
like the pea gravel in like an Italian garden.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fucking place your wife takes you for brunch and shit. The chairs don't fucking balance because you're sitting on the shit.
I'm a man. I've never had brunch.
Isn't this so nice? Oh yeah, the bugs, and I'm sitting right in the middle of the fucking sun. This is great. This is what I want to do on a Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already 87.
Yep.
Well, you know who I am?
Aren't you having fun? Having to eat while wearing sunglasses, and I still can't look at you. And it's so goddamn bright. It's like worse than a fluorescent light. You can see every imperfection in my face right now. Looks great.
Paying $16 for 2 slices of avocado toast.
Yeah.
And a fucking $20 mimosa. It's way too much orange juice. Nick drags this doll inside. Why the fuck would you drag this doll inside? He notices a red ribbon in its mouth. He pulls it out to reveal a key with the CRS logo on it.
There are a lot of points in this where it's like, what if he just left the doll out there? Like, what does CRS do?
Yeah, if there's a fucking wooden clown doll in my driveway, I'm not dragging it in my house.
Dan, I am.
You're all about the game.
I am 100% taking mystery dolls into my house.
He even sets it up in his office, with a chair in his office. It's like,
Yeah, don't be
why,
rude.
just leave that in the fucking mud room.
What, you just going to put it face down on the ground somewhere? Come on,
I'd be
Dan.
like, hey, maid lady who's not my mother, get that out of here. All right.
I mean, if you don't set it in a chair yourself, you're gonna walk in the next morning and it's gonna be sitting in the chair.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'm pretty sure there's probably somebody posted up at his house watching him, right? That's probably their job, is to make sure if he doesn't take it inside, you break in and set it up fucking pin style in his bed next to him or something.
That would have been way cooler.
I just meant because it's like an evil doll that has its own agency.
All right, there is a CRS logo on this key. Later that evening, while watching the news in his office, Nick walks over to investigate the doll. It's sitting in a chair in his office, as we talked about. We hear the news report. It mentions Nick's name, but he doesn't really notice. Nick continues to look at the doll. The TV starts flickering, and the news reporter says it doesn't matter to a fat cat Brewster's Millions like you. This catches Nick's full attention to the TV as he turns away from prying open our doll's mouth, not the dog. All of a sudden, the news reporter asks if he's going to spend all evening with the doll. Nick is hesitant, but talks back to the TV reporter and asks, "What is this?" "This is your game, Nicholas, and welcome to it." Nick can't believe it. The fucking TV's talking to the guy. The TV reporter asks Nick, he lays some ground rules for Nick. He says, "This is your first key. You'll receive more throughout the game, so pay attention."
You're going to know what it feels like to live as a janitor. That's your game.
Nick's more concerned with the guy, how the guy is talking to him through the TV. The reporter says there's a tiny camera looking at you. Nick pries the speaker off of the TV, but the housekeeper interrupts him, his maid, not his mother.
I'm fucking doing something.
Get out now.
I like how the TV guy's like, "Do you know how dangerous that is?" We go back to the conversation with the TV reporter. You want to know how you got a camera in your house? Nick says yes. The TV flips to Nick's office. He follows it over to the clown. It's in his eye. Nick breaks the camera, breaks the neck of the doll, I guess.
Wow.
The TV reporter gives him a number to call for emergencies only during the game. Nick writes it down. He goes downstairs and sets his alarm.
It's such a bummer that he destroyed that clown or that doll before it had the ability to give him a physical and check for pneumonia.
Or an abortion.
He was like, "Nick, your temperature is 103."
It's 10 whatever. It's high. I mean, it's 101, 109. That's shit. It's high. Take a fucking child's aspirin.
I think 109 is worse, right?
It's much worse, but I'm saying it's...
You're dying. I mean...
You would have already been dead.
Depending how long it went. I mean, I operate at 108 just every day. I mean, it's boiling up here.
Well, that's why you want Foreigner in the Hall of Fame.
Like the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, they deserve it. You guys don't think so? Them and UFO.
No, I don't think they deserve it.
Name a Foreigner song, Kron.
That's why I don't think they deserve it.
What's Dirty Game?
Double Vision, Hot Blooded.
Yeah, Double Vision.
Cold as Ice.
Cold as Ice.
They run the gamut of temperature. Nobody sense.
The next morning, Nick arrives at the airport, and he's on high alert after last night's invasion of privacy. He's looking around and wondering if everyone he hears is part of the game.
You think he took a shower with his undies on?
Nah.
He's like, fuck it. Maybe I'll be on a podcast someday. Let him see.
I mean, I'm always 50-50 at an Airbnb that they got a camera in there. It doesn't stop me from showering.
Jerking off.
Yeah, showering's the least they got to worry about with me in there.
Watch me piss in your closet floor.
This guy just grabbed his own turd out of the toilet. What's he doing with that?
Looks like we're going to have to get a new coffee maker. All right, he's looking around while waiting for his flight.
What am I doing? I was going to waffle stomp this.
Because you can only waffle stomp turds. That's how waffle stomping works. While waiting for his flight, a man gets up, leaves a newspaper behind.
Are you standing up and grabbing? Like, are your pants still down?
Yeah. I don't have pants on when I walk in there, dude.
So you haven't wiped. You haven't wiped or anything.
Pants are long gone.
Do you roll up your sleeve when you go into reach? Or?
Dude, I am naked.
Oh, not even an A-frame on.
No.
Not even a wife beater?
I am naked. I'm grabbing my turds out of the toilet, putting them in a little special box that I brought with me.
I hope you don't get it mixed up with that box of pubes. It's a puby turd, man. Woo.
Is that so you can argue being charged a cleaning bill?
Yeah.
Nope, you're not charging me an extra $95.
No way, dude.
I pulled my shit out of the bowl.
Pulled my shits. I didn't even sleep on the bed. You're not charging me a dime.
I pulled my shits. Did everybody pull their shits?
It's the first page in the 3-ring binder, right before telling you how to start the dishwasher before you leave.
Daddy, what is pull your shits? What the fuck? Kind of town is this? All right, well, waiting for his flight, a man gets up, leaves a newspaper behind, and next to it is a rattle with what appears to be the same clown face as the doll that Nick had at his house the night before. A lady comes by, she snatches it for her baby. The guy sitting next to him starts staring at him, and he starts pointing.
Look on her face is fucking nasty, man.
She's like, you were going to steal this shit? You're an asshole. Probably have a wife beater on, sir. Nick becomes very paranoid that the man is pointing, but then he realizes his pen is leaking in his shirt pocket. Nick heads to the bathroom to clean up the ink spot. And while doing this, a man in his stall reaches his hand out and says, "Hey, man, I need some toilet paper." This is our DP of the movie. Nick refuses and walks out of the bathroom, leaving the man hanging.
So, has he picked his shit up out of the toilet yet?
Nick is
he's left his in there like an idiot, dude. He's leaving evidence behind.
No, just pull it.
See, he should have helped that guy, and he would have come back later in the game to help Nick.
Oh, it's like the dog in Resident Evil 4.
Exactly.
Would you guys help a dude out who needed some toilet paper and stuff?
Yes.
He would have made the taxi in the river boss fight easier if Nick had helped him out here.
You know what I think? I think that this dilemma was like a psych trigger thing for them. I wonder if he helps this guy, it might change the course of what the game would be.
Like a test?
Yeah. I think this is all right, we've already kind of fucked with him a little bit. Is he starting to learn anything? Or is he still very selfish or whatever? You know, I think it's like a checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the waitress is also that later. And they almost have to say, like, the guy has to literally come by with a note that's like, fuck, you have to go after her.
Yeah.
So
Nick gets on his plane, he lands, he goes all corporate asshole on a dude that they're in business with. This guy does mention that he knows Nick's father, which really pisses Nick off.
So this guy is like a publisher of children's books?
Yeah.
So Nick is an investment banker, but I guess he owns the publishing company?
Yeah.
It just seems like these two businesses would not interact in like a normal...
Well, yeah, is it a mergers and an acquisition sort of thing? Like he bought this company and either needs to get it to a certain point or liquidate it sort of scenario where, because
it just seemed... I could see if it was like a smaller investment company or something, but to make it a children's books publisher, it just seemed like a weird, like, do these things interact ever?
It makes it nastier in a way, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It makes Nick look more like an asshole.
Because it's like pennies per share, right? It's like
he's at 8 cents and he needs them at 10 cents. Hey, your cents are costing me millions. Because he's like, we're up like 5, and he's like, yeah, you're at 8. You're supposed to be at 10.
I thought it was supposed to be like at $1.60, and he was like, we've gotten it up to. We bought it at 150. You were supposed to get to 160, and he was like, we've got it to 158, and he's like, that's still too short. And it was enough to make me think like a fucking $2 a share.
Costing him millions.
My Doja coin isn't even worth that.
Dude, you need to check your Doge. It's gone up. I looked the other day for the first time in like 6 months, and I was like, look at that.
Did you buy Dogecoin?
I have a shitload of Dogecoin. I spent like $10 on it. I think I got it was like at 20-something bucks the other day. I was like, what the fuck? That's the only crypto I have. We're going to get a live report of Bones doing Doge over here.
Oh, it's at 16 cents a share.
Oh.
What'd you buy it at?
It was cheap.
I don't know what I bought it at. I mean, it had a real spike earlier in the month, but it's come back down.
Okay, that's when I looked at it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. All right, where are we at? God damn it. As this is going down, Nick is trying to open up the suitcase for the man to sign his papers because he's firing him. But the suitcase will not open. He eventually sees the CRS key on his keychain and tries this out, but it doesn't work. Nick says it must be your lucky day. My lawyers will be in touch.
When do the suitcases get switched?
I think it's when he's in the elevator, because he loses it in the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
And then they have it at the hotel. So I would guess then, because he keeps it with him up until the elevator.
Because when the elevator closes, he's like, oh man, my suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that he leaves is that what it is? When his receptionist calls and she's like, it's 11 o'clock. I thought that was later in the movie. And
he goes and has the whole night with the lady.
His MasterCard.
MasterCard. Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Okay. That's the thing where he calls the hotel or whatever, and they say they don't have it. He's like, yeah, sure. Thinks it's part of the game. Okay. Thank you.
Nick goes full rage on the suitcase and beats it against a bench.
Good lock on that thing, dude.
Don't make him like that anymore. Nick flies back to San Francisco to meet Conrad for dinner. He waits. The waitress spills a shitload of wine all over him. Nick is still pretty upset with her. She tries to apologize, but Nick is not having it. She walks away, calls him an asshole. Her boss fires her. Nick takes another table and continues to wait for Conrad. As he's sitting there, a waiter delivers a check. Clearly mad, he opens it and grows very concerned. He starts looking towards where the waiter went, He follows and sees that the waiter just leaves the building. Oh, shit. Nick greets Christine. This is Deborah Kara Unger. Deborah. She's outside. This is the waitress that spilled the wine on him. She's leaving after being fired. Nick asks if she has something for him. Because he was left a
also
note.
Very aggressively ask women in alleyways if they've got something for me. And it never works.
You're not rich.
I guess that's the difference, dude.
Kron, they say, well, for a price.
They usually, they just mace me. And it hurts. It's happened so many times.
You think you'd build up a tolerance, but...
You'd think. I think they're making
mace
stronger now. Yeah. Or these women have started carrying bear, you know.
Christine pretty much tells Nick to fuck off. She walks away.
I think on the bear spray now, there's an icon for a bear, and there's also a little icon of a guy pulling a log out of a toilet.
Well, I'm carrying a turd when I ask them.
That's why. Doesn't matter what you ask them, you're just approaching them. And
I thought we were supposed to shit into condoms on this show.
That's why he's picking them up out of the toilet.
Yeah, I'm hanging on to it until I can get condoms.
As Nick follows her, a man falls down and he's in need of medical attention. Christine comes back. She tries to help the man out. Says call an ambulance.
Is this the laziest thing of the game? Where it's just like, all right, just have a guy just like fake die out of nowhere. Like
it's not completely unbelievable though that like an old you could imagine like an old person just collapsing.
Yeah,
you know, if you're out.
I think it's the way they did it. Like he kind of walks into frame and then like falls down.
Yeah. It couldn't have been like a guy on a bike who gets hit by a car or something and flips over or something. You'd think it'd be a little bit more, considering like
natural.
The fucking theatrical value of everything else that they do.
Maybe
just
the guy on the bike
to...
got hit too hard on the last game.
Oh, fuck, one guy like rolls out of a fucking moving car. I'm like, how much is this guy making? All right, as Nick, we see the guy fall down. Christine tries to help him out. Nick tries to call for help. How do you know he's real? Well, he's pissing his pants. Is that real enough for you? Nick is able to flag down some cops that come by.
When this guy applied to CRS, was that his special skill? Like, I can pee my pants on demand. Oh, we know just where to use you.
You need a fake heart attack and a pissed pants? I'm Kevin. I'm your guy. The cop says that he needs to fill out this paperwork or they will detain Nick because he witnessed this. And this is one of the moments where you can see like, all right, this shit, it's the game.
You think they wanted Liam Neeson for the piss guy?
I'm dying. And now my pants are wet.
I have a very particular set of skills.
I need to be taken to a hospital.
Nick is very frustrated, but goes for an ambulance ride with Christine. He shows the note to her that he received. It says, "Don't let her get away." They get dropped off at the emergency room entrance, but all of a sudden all the lights go out and everyone scatters and disappears. Nick tries to explain the game to Christine. She's like, let's get the fuck out of here. He's like, it's a company that they play elaborate pranks on people.
He says, it's all about the game. It's how you play it.
She says, so the guy turning blue is just a prank? Christine tries to look for a flashlight, but no luck.
Damn your soul, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Damn, Kron's useless.
Tell me why, you son of a bitch. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
She says, I'm out here. She says, I'm out of here. They start to walk through a dark parking garage. They pass two guys fighting with swords, trying to cut each other's heads off. Nick follows. As they make their way through the dark parking garage, they see an elevator open up. They rush over to it. They get in. They go up to the lobby. Nothing happens. Nick tries to explain the game again to Christine. Nick remembers the CRS key and tries it out. It works. This shuts the elevator. It goes up, but it shuts down. Nick tries his cell phone, and of course, it doesn't work, and the elevator phone has been removed. Nick pops open the emergency hatch. He goes up. He's like, we can get out through the top. He then lifts up Christine. She does admit that she's not wearing any underwear here.
All the more reason to give her a boost first.
Nick is very cordial and he lifts her up. They get out through the elevator shaft and end up in an office building. It happens to be CRS. They wander around, but Nick trips a laser alarm. He says, let's just wait for security and we'll explain everything. Christine says, fuck that shit, and makes a run for it. That's my girl. They bust into another part of the parking garage.
I mean, it's private security. It's not like it's not the cops.
They still got guns and dogs, Kron.
They shouldn't.
CRS security car is on them like a fly is on shit. They make it out to the streets. Another
Not at Kron's
CRS car is on
Airbnb.
them.
Yeah, I mean, you're holding it in your hand. You're going to get flies.
They dip into an alleyway, but this CRS guy lets out a K9. They climb up some junk in an alleyway and make their way up a staircase through an abandoned building. They get to a fire escape. That's a no-go. I like how the ladder just falls. Christine asks Nick who he is. She grabs onto a pole. She swings out. She's like, the fucking garbage will break our fall.
That's the game's way of telling you don't need to go back into that part of the map anymore.
You made it you unlocked the other side.
Yeah. You should take that as a way that there's nothing back there that you need for forward progression. You might have missed out on some treasure or something if you need to upgrade a gun or whatever, but
yeah, well, if you're trying
you
to
keep
100%,
grinding.
like you got to restart the game now.
Yeah.
You're locked out of that area.
If your chick was just like, let's jump into the trash can, I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
This is another one of those, you've got to be kind of invested in the game, right? Or you're really that terrified of being busted, because I don't know if I'm jumping into a fucking random
He's
dumpster.
old.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to stay with this lady now. He's playing a game within the game.
I would have been asking the guys at that Chinese restaurant, like, hey, can you throw some of those takeout cartons in there? Like, add some extra padding.
He's like, she's not wearing any underwear. Let's just go along with this, see where it goes.
The guy's fucking rich, man. He can get a waitress anywhere. Don't get bogged down on this one. Don't be jumping into dumpsters just because of some unemployed.
Christine, let's hurry this up. I got a private flight to catch. Some guy, my friend Epstein or something. Too soon? I mean, he's mega rich. Was he on the list? What if there was a Nicholas
Two Van Ortons.
That shit would be funny. And awesome. Not awesome. But Quinky Dink, right? What's a rich guy alias I could use? What was that movie about the clown?
Interesting, you called it a clown and not a doll.
It's a doll clown, Kron.
All right. Just interesting choice of words.
Dolls can have jobs, Kron.
For the listener.
They can have occupations.
Christine asks Nick who he is.
What
She
was
swings
Leech?
out.
What was Leech Woman's occupation?
Spit leeches onto people?
Killer.
Hmm.
Pin was a doctor.
Yeah, no, he was not.
Damn good one.
All right, they both jump into the trash can here. Breaks their fall. I believe she did actually do this stunt and I guess like broke her ankle or some shit, like hurt her ankle real bad. They continue to walk the streets. They head to Nick's office. I think they do have dinner at this Chinese restaurant because she does have a takeout box with her. She freshens up. He calls her a cab. While loading her into the cab, Christine tells Nick that she was paid $400 to spill drinks on him as a joke. She also says he's kind of attractive. The next morning, Nick is awakened at the hotel he stayed at by security. That says his American Express was left at the Nico Hotel, and they have located his briefcase. He calls the hotel, and the guy informs him that all his arrangements have been made and that the lady is on her way. Nick asks what her name is, and the guy says, I don't know. So Nick heads to the Nico Hotel. The front desk clerk says, welcome back. Nick says, have we met before? The hotel clerk says, I think so. Nick signs for his key. He's like, didn't I give you one of those last night? Nick looks in his jacket pocket and pulls out a key. Cute. Very cute. He heads up to the room.
Have you guys ever left anything with like the person at the front desk?
No.
Like, here's my bag, or here's this. Like, could you hold on? Man, it makes you feel classy as hell. You feel like James Bond.
What did you leave with?
I just take stuff out of the room and I just take it down there and be like, hey, hold on to this for me. Just to get a little human interaction.
Like, sir, is this the painting from the room?
Yeah.
This is the room phone, sir.
I don't want it ringing while I'm not here because I'm very popular.
Sir, these bottles of shampoo are on the house.
I've had to go ask for more stuff before.
Like what?
Towels.
You didn't just call?
You making a mess in there, dude?
Yeah, we used them all.
Taking showers.
Had to put them down on the bed.
You had to put them down on the floor so the floor wouldn't get wet from the shower.
Yeah.
There are legit people that I've been made aware of that line the floor from the bathroom to the bed in their hotels.
Of the hotel?
Yeah, because they don't want to walk on the carpet without shoes or anything. So people will ask for extra towels and lay them out and make like a little line.
Why don't you just bring something? Just wear your shoes.
I think the idea is that after you take a shower and do whatever, you can go.
But you're willing to sleep in the bed, but not walk on the floor?
I think you can kind of maybe confirm that like the bed sheet's been washed.
Mm-hmm.
I bet these are probably the same people that ask for another load of sheets and remake the bed. But I don't do it. I roll around that. I mean, I get naked and roll across the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm turning the fucking air conditioning to 30
Oh, yeah.
because I'm not paying for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm turning the TV up to fucking 48. I don't give a shit.
You know why I turn the fucking AC down as much as I can? Because I want it to run constantly. Because when those things shut off and turn back on, they are the loudest fucking things. It's like I'd rather just have the continuous hum than that like when they hammer back on.
That's pretty on the spot sound. All right, this hotel room has obviously been used. He heads to the bathroom where he sees some of his shirts with his initials on it. He has his briefcase there. There's tons of Polaroids with naked ladies, and you can't really see like what's what.
I'm so glad that my wife and I, get to. We're so looking forward to our anniversary where we can stay at a Super 8. With all the towels we can use. A room that's down to 59 degrees. We can watch the second half of City Slickers 2 on AMC while consummating our love for each other.
It's beautiful.
God damn, I love America, huh?
Go get a continental breakfast in the morning.
Maybe I'll go downstairs and charge a small bag of Doritos Cool Ranch to the room.
For $8.
In that little mini bar closet thing that somebody's worked out. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to eat some wet eggs tomorrow morning. And
you ain't stayed at a Super 8. I don't think I've stayed at a Super 8 since I was a kid.
I cannot remember if I've ever stayed at a Super 8. Holiday Inn Express, not bad.
Kron?
I don't think Super 8, but we definitely hit some like Best Westerns back in the day.
Motel 6s, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, family trips was definitely like a $42 night.
I didn't care, man. If they had a pool and free breakfast.
I don't even think
Who
free
gives a
breakfast
shit?
was a thing like back then.
I remember eating some like continental breakfast when I was a little kid. I remember one time we were at like a Best Western and there was a vending machine like down the hall, and literally every single Sprite was you win a free Sprite.
What?
I kept buying them. I left with like 6 free Sprites, dude.
Wait, how did that work?
It was like you untwist the cap and it would say free Sprite. And I was like, these are all winners. I kept buying them. And then you take them to a store, like a gas station.
Oh, so you paid for like 6 Sprites, but you left with caps for 6 frees. Okay.
I remember like Gatorade did one, and I would look at like, if you angled it right, you could see if it was a winner or not. So I would look up.
Must have been.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
winner.
mean, if you can look through it, probably like a lemon or a
if
Arctic
you
ice.
dipped it enough, you could see where the liquid came down. You could see in there, and I'd be like, "That's a winner. That's a winner."
Have you ever been into the continental breakfast and the person that like works it, like the little kitchen person, is like really into it? Like they take it serious, like they treat it like they're a waiter, and will like come up to you and be like, "I just put some hash browns out. Like, do you guys? There's a whole other cart over there with yogurt and stuff if you need it."
Cereal to the left.
I've had multiple, and like Sam and I'm like, "Do I fucking tip this guy? Like what? Like he is all about it."
Did you tip him?
Yeah.
All right.
He's like, "Hey man, I found Jesus and I'm off meth, so I'm just happy to be here."
It's 6:30 in the morning, so I'm guessing he got there at 3.
It's good to still be alive, huh, brother?
I'm just jazzed.
He just for 2 hours he's just throwing the fucking scrambled egg packets into the microwave to warm those things up. Let me throw the sausages on the rotisserie.
All right, we got Polaroids of naked ladies. We got Nick's signature on receipts. We got porn playing in the background, cocaine all over the table. His briefcase is filled with these Polaroid porn pictures.
Now, Kron, none of this looked out of place to you, right?
No. I have the exact same briefcase.
Housekeeping does try to get in, but Nick keeps her out. Nick goes on a cleaning frenzy here. He gets rid of the Coke. He washes it down the sink, but he cuts his hand on the mirror.
Does CRS buy real Coke? Or is
Yeah,
that
I think so.
prop? Is that prop Coke?
No, I think it's real. They're a professional outfit.
He's just like, oh, that's Tide. Fuck. He tries to flush everything down the toilet. He cuts his hand. Nick packs up some of the nudie photos into his briefcase. He hightails it out of there. While speeding away, he is tailed by another car. Nick does notice that He does notice that he's being tailed and tries to lose the car. Nick pulls off in an alleyway. He parks his BMW. The car following him pulls in behind him. Nick is hiding behind one of the trash cans and comes right up to the driver's side door and says, "Why the hell are you following me?" He asks if Anson is the game. Anson's the guy who has the children's book company who he fired. Nick reaches in, pulls the gun from the guy's coat. I suppose the game uses fake bullets, and he shoots one off and it pops the tire of the car.
What if they shot you in the face?
The guy following him freaks out and says, "I'm just a private eye that was hired to keep tabs on you." And he runs off. Nick calls his assistant and says, "Samuel, meet me at the Ritz-Carlton. And gentlemen, meet me at the toilet because we're taking a pee break." Welcome back, everybody, to 5-Day Rentals. We are smack dab in the middle of The Game from 1997, directed by none other than David Fincher. If you made it this far, congratulations, and we're sorry. But we're going to try to pull you through here and give you our, movie. What do we do? Review.
This has never been about the movies. We just got to fucking accept that. It's not about the movies.
We can't tell people that. They got to figure that out
I
themselves.
know, but
That's
they made it this
that's
far.
What they tell their friends.
If you made it this far, hey, guess what? Here's a little nookie, and it's not about the movies. Okay?
That's what they tell their. They're like,
You're in
"Hey,
the
I got
crew."
this podcast. It's called 5-Day Rentals. Like they do movies, but it's not like really about that."
Dan, let's race through the end of this movie.
You ready? All right. Nick, he brings his attorney Samuel to the Ritz. He marches into the room of Anson, who's with his daughter and his wife. He throws the nudie pictures into the room dramatically, and he says, "You can have pictures of me with nipple rings and butt fucking Captain Kangaroo, but all that matters is the stock."
I like that at first I think his lawyer is like, tries to cut him off, and Hanson is like, no, let's see where this goes. Like, let him talk.
His daughter's like, "Daddy?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "It's fine."
Please continue with your butt fucking.
He also brings up bringing in Conrad was a shitty thing to do as well. Nick introduces Samuel, his attorney, to Anson. Anson says he signed the agreement and everything's great. He's like, "My wife appreciates that I'm going into retirement." He said, "I signed it this morning." And Nick was right about the retirement. Nick apologizes. He leaves. Samuel meets Nick at his office after this. He says, "Should I be worried?"
Yeah,
Nick
you
tells
made a
him
fool out of yourself in there.
Nick tells him that he needs to check into this CRS thing. Nick shows him the waiver from CRS, but it's just a blank piece of paper. Oh, it's invisible ink. Nick says, "This is what I'm dealing with, man. This shit's getting to me." His attorney asks if he's sure, or if he's all right. And Nick says, "Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out."
Which is it?
Is he ready or is he right, Dan?
Now he asks if he's okay. Like, should I be worried about you?
Now we got a third word.
I'll figure it out.
Jesus Christ.
Nick finds an envelope in his briefcase. You fuckers leave me alone.
Question.
He opens it. Yeah.
Concerning the lawyer. Do you think the lawyer has at least been contacted by CRS? Like, is he aware of any of this?
You know, on my second watch this week, I was like, I don't know if Samuel is in, but I think he is at the party at the end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I had that same question. I'm like, I don't know if he's just doing a really good job.
Because he and the mom / housekeeper are the only ones where I would think like you could probably get away with them not being involved. But then you get to the point where the people have broken into the house or whatever.
That's why I think she's involved.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like,
I feel like the lawyer, it probably would break some kind of law to like bring a lawyer in on this. Like he technically has a responsibility to his client, you know?
to be honest with him, I guess.
Yeah. Like I feel like that's maybe one of the few guys you couldn't, if he's ethical, you know?
Even if it's like a fun thing, like is there a certain point, like there's a clause where it's like, all right, if it gets to a certain point, you can break, but
Maybe, I don't know.
and that's another one of those, suspension things that you got to do.
Nick does find another envelope in his briefcase. He opens it, and it's some kind of handle. He asks his assistant to find out where the cab went.
Now we're in a
For
Resident
Steam
Evil
the other
game,
night.
baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I wrote down like literally if this movie had zombies, you're
Yeah.
you're 90% of the way there.
Yeah. I mean, needing random keys, getting creeped out, a ladder that breaks on you,
Mm-hmm.
and now you give me a fucking ladder or a fucking handle. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like literally in RE2, if you get around to playing that remake, like you get a lever or a like some kind of handle. That's like a
I think
Is it in the
there's a
police
crank for
station?
one of the doors at the police station, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's at the very beginning. Yeah.
there's that, and then you get a valve later in the game.
Yeah. And in separate ways, I just passed that part where you've got to, as Ada, crank that valve to get past the steam. And you've got the two chainsaw
Oh
goons
yeah.
coming after you. I think I did like 3 laps around that thing trying to get the chainsaw people off of me. Because I'm on my first run, but I'm doing a not Bones run. I am just fucking running. Usually I take my time and enjoy it, but I'm like, nah, Ada would just fucking bolt. So it's pretty fun though.
Hell yeah. I mean, for $20, man, I got more than 20 hours of play out of that thing. So
Yeah.
I think of it
I
that
only paid
way.
10. It's only 10 right now.
Oh shit.
Nick heads back to his mansion. He makes sure to bring the gun that he got from the private eye when he shot out the tire with him. As he gets in, all his lights are off. The phone is off the hook. You
Fincher
can tell.
reference, Dan. The
Yeah.
guy who plays the PI. Do you recognize him from another Fincher movie? Mark Boone Jr., I believe, is the actor's name.
Is he in 7?
He
Is he in
is.
7?
He is.
That's right.
in
Is he like one of the detectives that's at the?
No, he is the
No.
agent buddy of Morgan Freeman that hooks him up with the library list.
Okay, yeah, in the car.
Or
Is he in Memento?
He's the one. Yeah, he's in Memento too.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that they pay, and then they got to wait on him. Like I think he eats the pizza or whatever, and then he comes
Yeah, he
back like an
brings it
hour
out.
later, and he brings them the list.
Good pull, Bones. All right, he notices his phone is off the hook. He can tell that
He's
something's
also in
not
Batman
right.
Begins, but I didn't want to bring that up.
He tries to turn off the lights or turn on the lights. He gets shocked. He makes his way through his house. All of a sudden, a black lights come up, revealing a whole bunch of fucking graffiti all over his walls. White Rabbit starts blasting in the house.
Again, Kron, nothing seems regular for you, right? Nothing's out of place.
If I turn this light off right now.
Yeah, he's always like, Dan, throw the toaster in the fucking bathtub when White Rabbit peaks.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm trying to live, you know?
You're trying to die there. Nick's
Not
house.
if it doesn't kill me, dude.
Well, yeah, I throw a grapefruit at your fucking forehead. Nick's house has been thrashed. He finds the clown with a picture of his father's death in his mouth and a note that says, like my father before me, I choose eternal sleep. It's fucking pretty metal, right?
Dun 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 dun.
Fuck yeah, dude. Get that new high on fire. It's fucking good. Nick heads over to his housekeeper's / mom's house and tells her that there's been a break-in. He calls 911. He sets his alarm again for some reason. Someone runs up to the door, scares the shit out of Nick. It's Conrad. He's all freaked out. They hightail it out of Nick's place. Conrad rips a wire out of the ceiling of Nick's Beamer and starts going on about how CRS has fucked him. They keep fucking you and fucking you and fucking you, and then when you think it's all done, that's when they fuck you even more. He said he's paid them even more money and they won't stop. He says he's very sorry for getting Nick involved. Conrad says, I don't know why they won't leave me alone.
This is why you pay for a Sean Penn, right? Is this sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not in a ton of the movie, but when he comes in, he nails it.
Yeah, you need somebody that is so believably like drug, paranoid, sweaty. Party foul from Laundry Dan here. Do we need to call down a room service and get more towels for you?
Bring me a fucking beer. I told you.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Dan puts on that A-frame shirt, dude, becomes a different person.
Yeah.
As Conrad and Nikki are headed down the street in the BMW, a tire blows out. Nick tries to make a phone call to get it fixed. It's not working. Conrad's good and paranoid now. Nick goes out to start to change the tire. We all both know these rich little kids can't change a fucking
They don't
tire.
know what the hell they're doing, dude.
His body language later, when he's like looking at the jack and he's just like, fuck this, and walks away from the car, is 100% believable.
Where are they? Are they in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be a little sketched out trying to change a tire in San Francisco, dude. Those streets are like fucking vertical.
Nick tells Conrad to get something from the glove box. And when he opens it up, he finds a shitload of keys with the CRS logo. Conrad gets out of the car and shows the keys to Nick. You're one of them, Conrad says. Nick says, you brought CRS to me. Like, what are you talking about? Conrad freaks out, throws the keys at Nicky, and runs off. Nick chases him. They stop on some stairs. They have a conversation. Conrad's very upset and goes on about how he didn't live up to his expectations and he wasn't going to be Nick when he grew up. And you have no right playing dad all these years. Nick screams, did I have a choice? Did I have a choice? Conrad takes off. Nick tries to catch him, but Conrad fast as hell, man.
It was really awkward when Joaquin Phoenix was like dancing in between them and shit. Hey! Do you mind?
I do like the guy that comes out and he's like, go back in your fucking house. And he's like, I'm calling the cops, man. Nick comes to terms with the fact that he's not catching fast ass Conrad here. He starts hearing multiple payphones ringing all at once. He runs into a laundromat and he answers it. Oh, one of the phones. It's the same conversation that he just had with Conrad if they're playing it back to him. Fuck.
Wild. Did you get some laundry flashbacks, Dan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I picked this movie.
Mm-hmm. Not for the puppet stuff.
Well, 1 puppets, 2 laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first laundromats that's been featured. Who got killed in it? Was that Bushwick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert on Bushwick if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We already covered it, so
yeah,
everyone
but I'm
listening
I'm
has.
sure 4 of the people that listened to that episode actually watched it.
I remembered. That's weird. Nick goes back and
it's a good movie.
it's a good movie. I liked it.
Nick
goes back
got some
and-
Civil War in it, maybe.
Correct.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Can't wait. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, me too.
It's a nice theater, too.
Hell yeah.
You should see it in the best theater
Yeah,
that you can.
I would say sound trumps visual on that too.
I would say this theater's got the best sound. Like maybe it's beat by the IMAX has a bigger screen, but this theater does have like top of the line sound in it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you right now. Some of that stuff, shit.
You're gonna be
It's good.
sweating through your A-frame, bro.
Sweating through that wife beater, baby. Nick goes back and pretends like he's going to fix his flat tire. But he's like, fuck this shit. Starts walking.
What am I doing? I'm rich.
Huh?
That's what he thinks to himself. What am I doing? I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a new car. But then he still locks it. He gets like 8 feet away and
That's the rich man in him, dude. He does snag a cab. Gives him his address to the house. As they're driving along, Nick notices he misses a turn. He notices that CRS is on the company's name of the cab, and he yells for him to stop the car and let him out. The driver stops real quick, but then he just speeds right back up. Nick pleads with the driver that he's a very rich man and I'll pay you double whatever they're paying you.
has
The
that
cabbie just
ever
laughs at this.
has that ever worked for anybody?
That would work for me. If I was a cab driver, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're paying me $8 million.
They're paying me $10,000. Give me 20 and I'm out. The cab takes Nick on a wild ride through the streets of San Francisco, then opens the driver door and just jumps out, sending the cab off a pier and into the ocean with Nick in the back seat. Oh, shit. The cab sinks.
Did you read that Fincher made the stunt driver do that 45 times?
No, I did not. Did he really?
Sounds believable as hell, though, doesn't it?
Guy would
Coming
be
from
black
Fincher.
and blue at the end of the thing. I mean,
Dude got paid. The cab sinks and Nick freaks the fuck out. He kind of runs his hand across the notch where the window knob should be to roll the window down. And then he remembers the handle and the envelope. He gets it out of his jacket and rolls down the window, letting the water in, which allows him to swim up to the surface.
when the water rushes in, it looks really good.
This whole scene's really good. The next morning, Nick meets the detectives at the CRS building. They head up to the office, but it's been gutted. The detectives go over all the crazy shit that's happened to Nick in the past few days. They pretty much say that all information is pending. They haven't found anything yet. One of the detectives does mention that Nick is paying this company, which their attorney is like, shut the fuck up. That doesn't matter. Later that night at Nick's house, he does...
He's not paying them, though, right? Conrad's footing the bill.
Well, he signed up for it, basically.
Yeah.
Later that
which
night...
one is it?
That's the game, Kron. That's the game. That night at his house, he does ask his housekeeper / mom how his father was. She says, yeah, he worked very hard, but he loved your mother. She says you couldn't even tell that he was in a room until he started talking. He says, I wonder how much of him is in me. She says, not much. Nick does receive the phone call.
Does she
of
call
Christine's
him slight?
address.
Did she say he was very slight or something?
Yeah, like quiet and
Yeah.
slight. And yeah.
That to me just seemed like, depending on how you took it, it could be such a compliment that somebody is quiet and respectful, or such a dig that they leave no presence. You have no fucking idea that you are around.
Well, I think she
know?
describes it as like you wouldn't even know he was in the room.
Yeah.
Like he's like a non-person. I mean, it is like both, it's like sad, but also like you were saying, it's like, well, damn, like did this lady not even think anything of this person?
Yeah. His defining characteristic is that he's rich.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like she was scared all the time. Like, oh shit, you're in here?
Oh, he's a fucking sidler.
He's a Milford man.
All right, he does get Christine's address, so he heads that way. He arrives, he chats with Christine, shows her the Polaroids, because whenever she took a shower at his office, she had a red bra on. And the lady in this Polaroid does have a red bra on. He asks if this is her. Christine asks if he's okay.
A red what?
Red bra.
Okay.
What'd you think I said? Bro?
No.
Bra? Brawl? It's that
Yeah.
Midwest, baby. You know where I'm from.
Take your bra off.
Take that bra off, girl.
Kron's
Let me
favorite
see
movie is
Hush puppies.
Bra and Cell Block 99.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's Brawl in Cell Block 99.
That's a good movie, guys.
It is a good movie. I can't wait to cover it on the show.
You
I
never
can't
know.
bring it.
Oh, you give it a 5?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, at least he admits that.
One of you two could bring it, though.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6. Christine asks if everything's okay. Says, let me change real quick and we could talk. Nick asks for an aspirin and gets up and starts looking around the apartment. He burns his hand on a fucking tag on a light bulb.
I think he sees, it's like the light is smoking, and then he figures out, like, oh, there's still a price tag on this thing.
Fucking props department.
It's home fill.
Lazy.
Nick goes to the kitchen to run his hand under some cold water, but there is no water. He starts looking around the whole apartment. He notices everything is just, there's nothing in the refrigerator. There's fake books, fake pictures in the frames. Christine does come out. He asks her to take out the picture from the frame. And as she approaches, she whispers, "They're watching." She says they can see you because of the smoke detector. Nick's like, "I'm tired of this fucking shit," and starts yelling at the smoke detector. He says he's sick of this shit. Now come out of there now. He's had enough. He smashes the smoke detector with the fire poke. Put it on the list. Christine says, "Now you've done it." As he pulled up to her apartment, we did see a cable van that said CRS on it. Cable Renewal, it's like Systems or something. So you do see the initials of CRS throughout the movie.
I hate when my cable expires and they got to come in and put all new cable.
They come in guns loaded.
Every
and
12 months, they shoot up my house and give me new cable. It's fucking annoying. Dan, one of the things I wanted to talk about with Fincher specifically is like what we've come to understand as the Fincher aesthetic, right? For lack of a better term, dark, right? He is able to,
Loves it.
He loves dark, but he's able to at least create layers within the darkness, right? Forgive my poor verbiage when it comes to cinematography, but Fincher has a look. I feel like somebody like Wes Anderson will often get knocked because they always have a particular look, right? But I feel within Wes Anderson, the style, aesthetic of whatever he is shooting will be different, right? He might be choosing to shoot on a set or on location, or his environments will often change, and he'll change aspect ratios or do whatever. What is it about Fincher where we sort of just like allow, like, I think more so than, what's the guy's name that shoots for Spielberg, Yanis or whatever, or even Scorsese, like they have a little bit more variation in their visual aesthetic than Fincher will. Like, at what point is somebody going to challenge him and be like, hey, make a different look? I mean, maybe Mank was that, but I'm not trying to start a fight, but I feel like, 2 or 3 Wes Andersons ago, you were like, fucking change it up.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example here, but yeah, they're all pretty much look like this since 7.
Well, I mean, he works with a lot of the same guys, right? So I'm sure his DP is probably the same dude for like the last however many movies.
The only guys that can stand him.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. Like, he assembled a team that he knows how to work with, and he's just like, this is how I'll make movies forever.
But
so you probably don't have someone else coming in being like, what if we shot it this way or did this thing,
I think maybe we accept that this is Fincher, this is what we're going to get. I think with Wes Anderson is more of a storyteller, I guess. So maybe that's why he gets knocked. Like,
I think it's just more stylized, right?
You want to see like a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think they're knocking, and I've knocked Wes Anderson. I have, but maybe just something different besides the quirky characters who smoke all the time. I don't know. But like I said, yeah, Fincher does the same shit. So yeah, you got a good point there.
I think
point to Bones.
I think Wes or someone like Tim Burton is just more heightened. It's more stylized. Fincher is still like a little bit closer to real life aesthetics, even though it is all dark all the time. It at least somewhat resembles the world we live in. I've never been anywhere that looks like a fucking Wes Anderson movie. Not to say that it's bad, it's just like that's the way he sees images and shit,
And it's cool.
It is cool, yeah.
Yeah, Fincher it's a heightened realism which makes you uncomfortable but doesn't take you out. Like, you believe that world exists and you don't want to be in there. Mm-hmm. Anderson creates a quirky world that is inviting. Fincher, for some reason, is never inviting. To me, personally. Like,
he's going to get Hulk Hogan and do a family comedy next.
But I'm just in terms of directors that are, top of their game, currently doing pretty much whatever they want, I'd be hard pressed to think like those are the top 2 in terms of unmistakable visual aesthetic. And it's just quite interesting that I feel like one of them gets a little bit more and it could be like the hipstery, quirky, I get what you're saying. But
well, maybe they think Anderson has more to say. Like, they already know Fincher's like, that's what you're getting. And they're like, hey, like, you're really good. Like, I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you want to see like Wes Anderson be like, I'm doing a slasher?
I don't think so.
No.
I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
But
Based off of all of his other movies, I don't know if that would work for him.
I also think that they both have a lot to say, particularly about sort of human emotion and connection, right? But Fincher is saying quite a bit about how fucking awful people are and can be. And Anderson does that as well. There's just this sheen of like pastel on top of it that finds you more inviting, and then it's like, oh shit, Steve Zissou's a piece of shit. Okay, you know, like, whereas Social Network, it's like, oh, I immediately know that this guy is a piece of shit, but it's fascinating either way.
It's fascinating to see how he'll make $1 billion and continue to be a piece of shit.
As soon as I said it, I was like, there's fucking DV and Nolan sitting right there too, as far as like top visual aesthetic too. But I think they're almost in that cold lack of emotion epic scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Ain't got time for feeling.
Okay.
But look at this.
Sorry to sidetrack at 2.5 hours, but
Right, you're right.
every once in a while I do like to maybe talk movie stuff and not just pulling turds out of toilets.
Hey, this is a movie podcast. All right, outside, this cable van burst open. A SWAT team comes out and heads directly for the apartment. They get into position and start raining fucking bullets onto this apartment. Nick and Christine hit the floor as the first rounds hit. Once that ends, they hit the ground running. They manage to get out of the apartment. They're pinned down by the SWAT team because they continue to search the place. They make some quick moves, and they're able to make it to Nick's car, but they do attract some attention from the SWAT team. They speed off. The cable van follows in pursuit, but Nick does manage to lose them with some nice moves and some high rates of speed there through the streets of San Francisco. They get into a clear spot. Nick stops the car. He kicks Christine out and says, all this shit's happening because of you. Like, get the fuck out of here. He speeds off, but she kind of says, you're not going to know anything unless you have me. He backs up and lets her get back in the car. As they drive, Christine does open up that she is an employee of CRS and that his brother Conrad is involved and might be working for CRS as well. Nick asks, how do you know all this? Christine how do they know like all the details of my shit? She says they've hacked you whenever you came in to see Jim, I think his name was, whenever he signed you up. They got everything they needed from the test that you did at the CRS building. Christine gives out more information. Nick does make the rich asshole move and checks his Swiss bank accounts. And the lady at the other end of the line says that they have zero balance. They've already got to you.
Yeah, but he also like gives all of his PIN numbers and shit when he's on the phone.
To her?
Yeah, so he's on the phone talking to the bank lady, gives his PIN, and Christine is sitting right there in the passenger seat.
Nice.
I mean, I've been around you guys for 20 years. You don't know my fucking PIN.
Yeah, okay. We just don't buy a lot.
One little treat a year.
Christine says your shit's empty because they're done with you. Like, this is the end. Nick stops at a gas station, calls his attorney, Samuel, says to call the cops, and I have someone that can testify against CRS. He's talking about Christine. The two continue on their getaway. They end up at Nick's family's cabin. Christine...
it's such a rich guy thing. Like, I have somebody who can testify. Like,
no, I thought you went to cabin.
No, that's definitely
that too.
Yeah.
Christine tries to tell Nick her real name. He's like, who fucking cares? He asks how many times she's done this scam. He says, you're messing with the company, not just me. Talking about his business. Samuel, his attorney, does call him and say that all his funds are intact and where is his location, that he needs to talk to him. Christine says he's in on it. Nick hangs up and says, I got to get out of here. He starts feeling a little strange and woozy, then falls to the floor. Christine did make some tea or coffee or something. He has some inner dialogue of Christine saying things about CRS, pretty much all the shit she said on the way up. And getting his information, she says, goodbye, Nick, and leaves.
Doesn't she say, like, we drained you, daddy? Do you think he busted? I think he busted.
I don't remember that.
Did you?
I think it's because she's like, we have all, like, she's kind of letting him in, like, it is what you thought, I'm in on it, but now I have your PIN numbers and shit like that.
Yeah, but we drained you, daddy. What were you doing while you were watching this?
I don't know. I was looking at some stuff on my phone.
I was going to say, did you get one of those women in the alley to...
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Knocked her out with a hard turd. And...
Nick wakes up in a casket and crawls out of a crypt. He's in Mexico.
Hello, kitties.
He walks around the city for a little bit, all confused, and then asks a person where the American embassy is. He gets there. He explains to the embassy man that he was mugged and he needs to get back to the United States. The embassy guy says, why didn't they take your watch if you were mugged? He's like, that's a pretty expensive watch. Nick leaves the embassy and trades his father's the watch that his father gave him on his 18th birthday. He snags a taco and catches a bus. Then he hitchhikes his way back into the United States of America.
I bet that taco looks so good. I bet that was so good.
He munches. He just halves it. 2-biter.
I bet for him it's like it's the best tasting thing he's ever had in his life.
Mm-hmm.
A street taco. Maybe he's learning a lesson.
That's the speech from Fight Club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your food is going to taste better.
Breakfast tomorrow will taste better. Yeah.
Tomorrow will be the greatest day of...
What was his name? He wanted to be a veterinarian.
Yeah. When he gets back in the United States, he goes to a diner and asks for the kindness of the people if he can catch a ride to San Francisco. Luckily, the Baskin-Robbins driver lets him ride along. Thank God it wasn't Meatloaf.
Yeah, we got it. Blacktop.
Yeah. He gets back to his place, which is going up for a public auction. Showers in a cold-ass shower.
Was he, like, still paying the mortgage on this place?
I don't know. That didn't make any sense to me, too, when I thought about it. I'm like...
He didn't own his mansion?
They do all this? Maybe it was just all for show.
Honestly,
in a trust
it's the most outlandish thing in this movie.
Don't rich people put all their shit in trusts when they hand it over so they don't have to pay taxes and stuff?
Yeah, he should have to battle his stepdaughter or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's part 2. Nick takes a cold-ass shower. He grabs his copy of To Kill a Mockingbird and takes a cab to meet his brother Conrad at a hotel. The hotel manager tells him that Conrad had a nervous breakdown and gives him the address to a mental hospital where they took him. Nick hits up his ex-wife. They have some lunch, and he pretty much just says, "Can I borrow your car?" He does apologize for the way he acted in the marriage and all that bullshit. Says she's the only one he can trust. Nick notices a commercial on TV in the diner. It's Jim from whenever he visited CRS. "How did you find me here?" He starts yelling at the TV like a Looney Tune. He's an actor. Nick steals the yellow pages and leaves the diner. He heads to Chinatown and stops to look up the address for the New Moon Cafe.
That's when
as
you know
Bones mentioned earlier.
that you're in like a legit adventure. It's like you got to rip a page out of the like the phone book, or just take the whole phone book. That's like a classic movie trope of I'm trying to find this spot, or I'm on the run, or whatever.
Or you get zapped back to 1955.
Yep.
Marty.
Oh, Doc.
He does stop up and look up the address for New Moon Cafe, which is what Jim was trying to hand him in the beginning whenever Nick did go to CRS, as Bones mentioned. But while doing this, he gets carjacked. Nick reveals the gun inside the book To Kill a Mockingbird. He questions the people at the restaurant about Jim the actor. He finds the dude's headshot on the wall and steals that as well. Nick makes a phone call to the casting company and finds out that Jim the actor is at the zoo with his kids. I don't know why the lady's giving out this information.
Because they need him to go.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
I know, guys.
Well, you got to keep tabs on your clients, know what they're doing every day.
Yeah.
Bonus alert, that's the one with the white tiger. Holy shit.
What if a big ad opportunity comes up?
Mm-hmm.
Get somebody down to the zoo.
Look, I really don't want to hang out with my kids, so if you can call me at any point, I'll take the job.
At least this is the San Francisco Zoo and not the New Orleans Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
They got
pins are a little bigger. You can't smoke there.
There's not a lady who's a leopard in some erotic thriller.
No Ed Begley Jr. getting his arm ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
Cat People, a good movie.
That
maybe you guys, didn't rate high as you should have. Maybe might be coming up on the Rewind 11.
I think 10 was a good number. Just stop at 10.
Oh,
Make it number 1. Who cares? I hate the list.
No, Kron. How do you hate the list? You got all top 20.
I hate the list.
I hate the list. It's the worst list.
Let's undo the list.
All right, Nick shows up at the tiger cage, and lo and behold, there's Jim the actor with his kids. Nick calls him by his real name and says, "I love your work." Nick does show off his piece. And Jim the actor says, "Look, man, I just played a part. It was a job." Nick says, "I want to talk to the people in charge." Jim the actor says, "No one knows." He says that CRS owns the whole building. They just move floor to floor. He says it's dangerous to try to find this stuff out. Nick holds the gun to Jim the actor and says, "Right now, I'm extremely dangerous." Jim the actor drives Nick to the building. Nick is hiding in the backseat under a yellow blanket. Jim the actor asks what the end game is for him. You're not gonna get your money back.
It's to
I don't
undo the
care
snap.
about money.
That's what the end game is.
What'd you say?
You got to undo the snap.
Yeah, when
You got to bring all the people
Kronos
back.
snapped his fingers at the end of Avengers.
Thanos, you were close.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Were they able to do it? Did they reverse time and make him not snap anymore?
Well, they reversed time to go back and get the stones, and then came back to our time. They were relatively successful after defeating a Thanos that came from the past. So they had to fight a younger Thanos again, who is now braggadocious because he knows that his future self was successful. So they are able to reverse it and bring everybody back. But they were unable, or the person that does the snap makes sure that they don't change anything that happened to the people that weren't blipped. Blip is what they call it.
When he killed everybody?
That's all I'll spoil.
Yeah, I'm racing out to watch him.
When Thanos snaps at the end of Infinity War, half of all living creatures just disappear. They fade away. They like disappear into like dust. So
Who decides which half?
it is truly random, unless you're the Marvel executives and you had to figure out the scheduling. So some people were blipped for scheduling purposes.
Depends on your religion.
Yes. And some were purposely not blipped because they wanted the original 6 to survive. So.
But did they?
Ooh, this guy knows.
I'm pulling back the curtain.
It's legit good, Kron. It's an achievement.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to do the prerequisite work of watching 39 other movies before I can fucking enjoy it.
I tried to get you there, man.
I want to meet the wizard. Jim, the actor, pulls into the parking spot. A security guard approaches. He says, "You can't be here." Nick pops up from the back seat and puts the gun to the security guard's face. They all head into the elevator. Jim, the actor, leads Nick into the CRS employee cafeteria. One of the guys picks up that it's Nick. This is the private detective. Drops all his food and runs away. Nick can also see Christine is sitting next to, I believe, the guy that passed out and pissed his pants. Oof. She asks what he's doing here. Back from the dead.
Did you notice he had like 4 water bottles? Like he had a job later. He was loading up.
So I gotta piss again.
Hey, you meet a guy that can piss his pants on command, you sit down next to him. He's got stories.
I peed in front of 2 presidents, 1 governor.
You name a city, I pissed in it.
You know the actress Elizabeth Hurley? I done pissed in front of her 3 times.
Brendan Fraser? Yep. He's seen the yellow.
I did that just for fun because I love his movies. I wasn't even getting paid. He just asked about it. He's so nice, actually. And I just thought, you know what? This is what I do. You share your work with me. I'll share mine with you.
We're both actors.
Make another Mummy movie, will you? That's what I said while I was pissing.
Christine tells Nick that he's not going to shoot anybody here. Nick pulls her in and says, "You're coming with me." Just then, the CRS security guards rush in. They tell everybody to get down and they start opening fire.
What rounds are real in this movie is also another
There's a point
major question.
where they're escaping and they shoot the BMW like across the windshield, which clearly should have killed Christine.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you okay? Like you couldn't have figured it out then?"
Well, they
Like,
just installed squibs in the windshield while he was in Mexico.
This is before Mexico.
All right. Well, still.
I'd be like, "Wait, you're not dead," and there's like 9 bullet holes like right there. How did you?
Well, we're going to get to my biggest question concerning bullets here in a second, so I'll let you keep going.
In my head, put a bullet through my head. All right, Nick and Christine, they rush out.
Yeah.
The end.
All right, but the CRS security guards, they just mow down their own employees here. Jim, the actor, he gets killed. Nick and Christine manage to make it to the top of the building. Nick starts demanding answers from Christine. She really has none. If not you, just some other asshole with a few $100 million in the bank. Nick tosses her the radio from the security guard and says to get someone on the line that I can talk to, or I'm going to shoot somebody. Nick points the gun at Christine. She starts freaking out because she realizes it's a real gun. She's like, "Where'd you get that?" He's like, "Don't worry about that. It's real, bitch." She starts asking where he got the gun. He says it's mine. Don't worry about it. I just said this. She puts up a call into the radio that there is a real gun involved to watch out. She starts freaking out, trying to tell Nick that it's all part of the game. It's fake. What you've just seen was a special effects like in the movies. By this time, CRS is trying to burst through the door to get Nick, but he's completely unhinged at this point. So they're all like there's some doors that they're trying to get to him. They're all like hitting him and shit. Christine tells him that Conrad is behind a door with a champagne bottle because it's your birthday party. CRS has started to cut through the locks of the door with a saw. Christine yells, "He's got a real gun." The door flies open. Nick shoots. He hits Conrad holding the bottle of champagne, and Conrad falls to the ground. We see Jim, the actor who got mowed down earlier. He's there standing with blood all over his shirt. He jumps in. He says, "Check his vitals." He does pronounce Conrad dead. He tells Christine, "You never let the mark take over." Nick is emotionally destroyed. He walks to the edge of the building and jumps. As he's free falling, he has flashbacks of him and Conrad as children. He smashes through some glass and falls into a giant blow up that breaks his fall. We start hearing radio chatter here about the fall. Was right on target, and to clear the breakaway glass, Nick opens his eyes and some paramedics are checking out his vitals. They pull him out of the blow up, and Conrad runs over and says, "Happy birthday, Nicky. This was all for your birthday." Conrad holds up a shirt that says, "I got drugged and left for dead in Mexico, and all I got was a stupid t-shirt."
That shirt is big for me.
It's huge.
Is this supposed to be Nick's new sleep shirt?
Yeah, it's his nightgown now.
Maybe Christine's.
Ooh. Okay, my question is, did they figured out that he had the gun in the book, right? And they throw blanks.
I think so.
They throw blanks in that. And they've squibbed Jim. They've squibbed Conrad. I'm forgiving that. What is the mechanism? I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but the timing on him being squibbed and the bottle busting is impressive. Now, have you...
Maybe he's got a little button on the bottle.
Okay. Yeah, just like a little explosive or something that he's supposed to trigger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys familiar with Penn and Teller's magic bullet?
I mean, I'm familiar with a magic bullet.
That's why I didn't say the magic bullet. I was trying to be specific. Okay.
Yeah, I know what it's all about. And I've never needed to use one. Not once. What's Penn and Teller's one?
Oh, basically, Teller will shoot, I think it's like a 44 mag or whatever, but they will have somebody from the audience come up, sign a bullet. They load it into this 44 mag. He shoots it at Penn, who's wearing like a bulletproof vest and a helmet. It goes through like a plate of glass, and Penn catches it in his mouth. So there's some sort of sleight of hand. And I recall Penn's years ago saying that it was like, it's the hardest trick that they've ever figured out, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's what closes their show. But there's like multiple little things that have to happen in that illusion. And it was just making me, this prompted me to go like, okay, I can believe that they can control the blanks inside his weapon. The reactivity of the bullets that they are firing do not make sense. But you just subdue that. But I guess it's such a simple answer, what you guys said. Like, he just squeezes the bottle and it breaks or something. But that was the thing that, because in the magic bullet trick, they have that glass there to show like something actually goes through and breaks that.
Right.
There's something at least going across the stage for you visually, because otherwise you would just think, oh, he already had it in his mouth or whatever. But watch it on YouTube. It takes like 5 minutes. It is a super impressive illusion.
It's good.
That and the human drill are the two things that have always just blown my mind.
Yeah, the human centipede is...
Yeah, but I know how they did that. The science makes sense.
We need 3 volunteers from the audience.
And we've never met before, have we?
I'm not middle. Nikki hugs Conrad, and Conrad says, hey, man.
All right, fine. You can be end. I'll be beginning. Bones, that leaves middle for you.
We've talked about that. I can't be middle.
You gotta be middle.
No. We have to go by height. If I'm in the middle, you guys' ass is like, your legs won't be on the ground, and the person behind me, your neck's going to be all fucked up.
Can the next logo be us as a human centipede?
No.
Yes. Everybody would buy that shirt.
We're going to run into the same thing. None of us are going to want to be the middle, dude.
I'll be the middle.
Interesting.
I'm the one that holds everything together anyway.
I don't know if it makes
even though nobody wants to go to Guar with me.
It doesn't make for a good illustration because all of our faces are going to be sewn onto assholes.
We could do post, like, disconnection. So it's just 3 squares, and it's just our faces filled with shit.
So one person's smiling because they were in front, and then 2 other people with their mouth all poopy.
Well, Kron already has turds in his hand, so he's used to it. All right, God,
I don't eat them. I don't eat them. That's not what I do with them.
Nick hugs Conrad. Conrad says, hey, look, I had to get you something because you were becoming such a giant asshole.
I've eaten turds 3 times in front of Elizabeth Hurley.
The party starts.
That makes one of us, dude. I just carry him around.
Nick shakes hands with all the CRS characters involved. Jim, the actor, says, thank God you jumped, because if not, I would have had to throw you off. Nick says bye to his ex-wife. He meets with Conrad, who's paying the bill for the whole thing. He shows Nick the price. You want to split it? He asks where Christine went. Conrad says she's out front trying to get a cab. He walks out there. Nick catches her. He says, let's have dinner, get to know each other. She says, you don't even know me. Where are you from? She says, Oklahoma or Colorado. She's like, shit, I've been doing this way too long. He says, she says, well, do you just want to have a cup of coffee with me at the airport? And he kind of like, was like, you know what? And then we end it. We don't know if he gets into the cab or not. God damn.
Jesus Christ. He might have to be in front of the human centipede. Otherwise, one of us is constantly having their asshole tickled by his fucking burps.
It's the way I sit.
That's not enough to convince me not to be in the front, Bones.
Damn it. Gentlemen, upon further research, this was released on September 12th of 1997 with an estimated budget of $70 million because 7 is a 5-star banger. And they said, you know what? This Fincher guy, he's on to something. A box office of over $109 million. That was basically the only thing that opened up that week. But on September 19th, you could have caught Wishmaster, LA Confidential, a 5-star banger here, and The Full Monty. And then the next week, you could have caught The Edge, the other movie I just did. Look at that. Michael Douglas was 53 years old when filming this movie.
He looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah Cora Ungla did fracture a bone when she jumped into the dumpster. We covered that. Jeff Bridges was offered the role of Conrad after Jodie Foster dropped out of the part, and it was rewritten for a male character. Jodie Foster did sue because of this movie, because she wanted to be featured. Something with Polygram, I guess she was contracted. She did sue for a few million because they didn't. She wanted to appear as his daughter, like Michael Douglas's daughter in the movie, and they were like, "That's not gonna work." But later on, Fincher did use her for Panic Room. Spike Jonze, the director, is featured. He is the flashlight welding paramedic, getting the glass out of the eyes of Michael Douglas there. Mario, we talked about him. Nicholas's father. Jonathan Musto was originally set to direct a film in 1993 with Kyle MacLachlan as Nicholas Van Orton and Bridget Fonda as Christine. Of course, Kyle is featured in The Hidden that we did. MacLachlan.
And currently on Amazon Prime's Fallout.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, very famous in some David Fincher
The
TV
Lyncher,
show.
the
Nobody
Lyncher
remembers.
verse.
The Criterion Laserdisc or address and the standard edition DVD feature an alternate ending where Nicholas Van Orton comes out of the hotel, declines a cab, and just walks away. He never speaks to Christine. David Fincher originally planned to make the game before 7, which 7 was in 1995. But once Brad Pitt signed on to 7, he was like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're doing 7. And that's all I got. Rate my box.
Kron, I'm going to give you a 3.5.
Bones. I'm going to give you a 3.5.
Dan, you want to play?
Bones, I'm giving you a 4.0. Kron, I'm giving you a 4.0.
Kron, you want to kick us off?
All right, guys. The game. Dan, you selected this for Puppet's Revenge. Bones, you of course selected Pinocchio. Now, I thought we'd have a good time. I thought we'd watch 3 fun killer puppet movies together. But you guys had other ideas. And in a way, you disobeying the rules like this
Can I say one thing? I want to tell you that we did not act together on this. It was not a planned thing.
I think on the last
very
record you
separate.
said on the drive down from Nashville you discussed if
we talked about puppet movies. We did not discuss picks. So
All right,
it was not a team effort.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that.
That is the truth. Why would we do that to you?
You guys decided to do your own thing, and I think in a way you've acted like the 2 baddest puppets of all when you think about it. You clearly disobeyed the rules and made a real clusterfuck of the category. So congrats, I guess.
Cheers, Dan.
Guys, I like the game. I really think this is a great movie. I've watched it, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times now since I've gotten that Blu-ray. What I really like about it is it delves into just like weird paranoia, right? There's like a cool little thing they do when he first gets to the airport where he sees like a pilot on the phone, but they give you the little audio of like hang up your call or hang up the phone and try your call again. Like he's talking to no one. I think after that, he just sees a janitor with like a whole bunch of keys that he clocks. There's 2 people doing sign language. The movie has all these little cues that just keep keying you in to this guy's like spiraling paranoia. I think the game as a concept is a ton of fun. I think all the twists and turns in the movie are entertaining, and just as like an enjoyable thriller. I like everything the movie is doing. I've seen this a few times now. I went back and forth on my score. Guys, I'm a 4.5 on the game.
Wow.
Bones.
Thank you, Kron. I was kind of at a loss on what I was going to present with my rating, and then as I forced in some MCU discussion, something kind of clicked for me. If you watch a disaster movie or a Marvel movie or comic book movie or something, like, you go into that knowing that there's a certain suspension of disbelief that just has to happen for this thing to exist. What is interesting about the game is you have to do the same, but its presentation, its craft, is that of such higher level and esteem that it can sometimes clash. And I think the first time you watch it, there's a part of me that wishes that I would have seen this the first time as an almost 40-year-old, right? Where I could have seen this as a more mature movie viewer and taken in all the little cues and just got to enjoy it that way. Unfortunately, I had it sort of ruined on a plane trip, so I never really got that full ride experience. On a rewatch, already kind of knowing what's going on, it forces you to look for those little cues. And Kron, like you said, they're there. There's just certain things. You can only go so far in believability, but the craft is absolutely there. Fincher is stamping himself. He goes 7, the game, Fight Club. Come on, man. Maybe someday he'll ease up a bit and he'll come back and do something a little bit more fun. I would say this is a more fun Fincher in comparison to a Zodiac or a Gone Girl. It's a solid watch. If you haven't seen it, I'm bummed for you that you've listened to this and had it ruined for you, but it's a 4.0.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for sitting through the game. Kron, thank you for the category. Bones, thank you for Pinocchio. Kron, thank you for Pin. I love David Fincher. I love Zodiac. I think it's one of the most perfect movies out there. I like the game. I think that there is a very good thriller here. I think the game is too long. I think that David Fincher, being a man of detail, which is what I love, but I think with this movie, he can't decide if he wants to show you more of Nicholas or if he wants to show you more of CRS. And I think what would work for me with the game more is if CRS was kind of more of a mystery. Kron mentioned the airport scene where he walks in, it kind of slows down and he's like noticing everything. And I'm like, that's the shit that I love. And I wish that they carried that more through the film. Like the cab driver, you could see the CRS. Like you didn't have to show it. I hate when you show it to the audience. Like, there it is. Right? Like when he pulls up to her apartment and you see the cable van, it says cable, like recovery, whatever, CRS. Like that was nice. Like, all right, you didn't focus in on that. And I think that's where my issue runs with this movie. You get to where he wakes up in a casket and you still got like 48 minutes on this thing. And you're like, what the fuck? I like the ending. I think that's good. I understand that you have to let Nicholas know when the game starts for his well-being, I guess. But if you're going to those extremes of jumping him off a fucking pier and like he could possibly die, like, I don't know, maybe like show kind of a diver maybe in that. I don't know. But there's just certain things that just kind of, yeah, okay. But I feel like it's all there. But like I said, it feels like he just can't decide on like which side to play more. He has said he couldn't get the ending right of this movie, and he kind of considers it like one of his worst movies. He should have picked something different with the follow-up to 7. So this is, I'm always excited to rewatch it. I'm like, all right, yeah, but it's a 3.5 for me. It's good. I like it. But like I said, I think it's all there. I just think it could be tighter, and I don't know, more mystery maybe would work for me. I think he just tries, I don't know. It works, but I don't know. It doesn't like give me a fucking like hard on. I don't know. Douglas is great. I love his character, his work. He just kind of accepts it, gets annoyed, and then he's just completely like, oh, wow, I'm fucking done with this shit. So Sean Penn's great as well. Acting's good here, but looks great. I don't know. There's just something about in the middle. I kind of fade off a little, I guess. But that's just me. It's a good movie.
Can I tap in and ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You brought up an interesting point about the push-pull between Nicholas and his growth or his interaction or whatever and the CRS detail. I didn't bring this up, but I had this thought on the rewatch. This is a really good example of POV. The entirety of the movie is POV from Nicholas. There is never a cutaway scene of guys in CRS on computers. So do you think that you are trained in another version of this story that you would get that you would get Christine talking to people? And so what you find is you're used to getting some more of that. So whenever he does flash the cab driver's thing, you're thinking, well, that's a little bit too much in that moment, but it is Nick's perspective. And then whenever you see things like the van, that's unfair because if Nick didn't see that, I shouldn't see it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I wonder
sense.
if there's a because so much of it is through his POV that if ever you as the viewer notice something that he doesn't, that it's unfair. And I wonder if that's also kind of the push-pull that's making that sort of seem worse. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems, I mean, maybe that is his intention there, but I don't know.
Because let's take 7 for example. 7, we are always with Morgan Freeman or Brad Pitt, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's never
John Doe.
When John Doe shows up, third act, right? That's it. Then he's in the car with them or doing whatever. There's like not an insert of a masked figure torturing anybody, right? That's all perspective. That's a great POV. You were learning it as they learn it which is awesome.
Seeing his aftermath and shit.
Yeah. So this one, like when you brought it up, like the van versus the ID badge, it was like, I'm right there with you. If that had been framed a certain way, where if just onto the side you saw the CRS. Yeah. But I agree with the filmmaking decision that if in the back of the car, he should look down and see CRS and go, fuck, you know. Kron didn't leave. We're not filling time right now and talking.
And it could go with maybe Nicholas's level of stress or annoyance with, like, he knows he's in the game and just like, oh shit. Like,
yeah.
Because when he does see the cab, he's kind of like, oh, fuck. Like,
and I do agree with you. I was shocked when I threw it on at how fast you get to the game and how long you are in the game. I do agree with you. I do think the movie is like 20 minutes too long. Do you wish that there would have been, because you're usually the guy who's a little bit more of, I wish I would have got this or whatever, that you got another scene of him feeling like he was getting it? Like Kron bringing up the airport, that's the one time where he's like, oh, I'm in the game. They're doing this. This guy's in on it. Should there have been, or could there have been another part where like he rises above and gets to feel like I'm powerful or I'm above it, I'm doing really well?
Or maybe just more example of maybe he goes and gets a coffee and it takes way long and he's like, it's the fucking game. Like, just maybe something like along those lines. Just a little more mystery on, I don't know, more paranoia, I guess, coming from Nicholas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what a cool thing could have been? Like maybe he had like a really shitty interaction with somebody along the way. And then at the party, he's like, hey, that lady that I pushed down at the deli, where's she at? I want to apologize. And they were like, the deli thing was all you. We had nothing to do with that. And there's like a little like, fuck.
I should have given that guy toilet paper.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been fucking great. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. And it's a good movie. Like, I'm not like shitting on it or anything, but I feel like Fincher would, I don't know, could just do so much more with it, I guess.
I couldn't make a movie this good on my third movie.
I know. I'm fucking throwing punches in the wind. Like I said, it's probably a 4.0. It probably is, but
it
averages out to a 4.0, right?
I know.
It does indeed. This would have an average score from the three of us of 4.0. I'm making up for your bad score, Dan.
0.5.
Giving it that extra 0.5 it deserves.
Thank you, Kron.
This thing would end up at number 17 on the big list. This would be right below Live Wire and right above Old Henry.
Nice.
I stand by Live Wire.
That's good.
Kron, I got a 0.5. Rate my Letterboxd.
Bones. 0.5. At the end of Revenge 5, The Revenge of Puppets Revenge, I would have 1 point. Bones, you would have 1.5. Dan, you would have 1.
Close.
Oh, and Mount Molehill would have 0.5 as well.
All right, we've gone on long enough. Dan, get us out of here.
Hey, if you're on Spotify or Apple, please rate, review, subscribe to the show. It helps us with world domination. You can find us on all the socials at Letterboxd, Threads, and Instagram. But if you really want to mess with us, join that Discord. There is a link on every episode that comes out every Wednesday of 5-Day Rentals. Hit that and you can chat along with us. If you got any questions, concerns, comments, you want us to guest, please email us at 5dayrentals.podcast@gmail.com. There is also a link on every episode drop on Wednesdays for that as well. But other than that, I'm going to go fuck Captain Kangaroo.
Speaking of fuck, marrying and eating and killing.
Yeah, you got to do that shit too.
I forgot.
What did we do? Pin. We did Pinocchio. A lot of puppet movies this round.
Well, one, when you think about it.
Yeah, Pinocchio. I'm going to marry Pinocchio. I'm going to fuck Pin, and I'm going to kill the game. Despite my scoring, I think Pin's very fuckable.
Well, clearly, that female nurse might have something to say about it.
I am going to marry the game. I'm going to kill Pin because he's a psychopath. And I'm going to fuck Pinocchio. That just sounds wrong, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
I'm going to marry the game, despite it not being a puppet movie. It is the best movie we watched in this category. I'm going to fuck Pin, pulling him on top of me, jamming my hips into him. I'm going to kill Pinocchio. Pinocchio's fine. It's just, 30-plus-year-old man watching Pinocchio alone on a Thursday night. Probably got to be a red flag somewhere. So, there you go.
Crash and burn?
Crash and burn.
You can't smoke in here. Fuck California.
All right, welcome back. 5-Day Rentals, the after shower. Kron? Leave him in the toilet, buddy.
No.
If it's,
That's how the government gets your DNA,
If it's
dude.
just you in the shower, do what you want. But Dan and I are in there. I hate to speak for Dan, but leave him in the toilet.
Don't worry, I got your guys's too.
No.
You trying to frame me for murder? The killer left a log behind. Guys.
A giant piece of shit over here.
Dan, you got to eat some fiber or something, dude. Yours was difficult to get out.
Yeah, you're scraping through some water there.
Yeah.
Guys, it's everybody's favorite, right? Time for a new category. Now, as Kron has threatened in previous episodes, categories mean nothing now, so he's just going to do whatever. Don't think I won't veto.
I will get 50% of the category. Don't worry about it.
Peek behind the curtain here. We are recording on a different day. Schedules had to bump. So earlier in this week, when we normally would have recorded, I decided, hey, I won't get to partake on 420 because I'll want to have my facilities talking about the game. So when we would have normally recorded, I did as the Romans do and took a tropical punch flavored edible, sat down and decided to check out a movie that I've wanted to watch for some time. About 15 minutes in, I thought, damn, this would make a pretty good 5-Day Rentals movie. And then, unfortunately, it was too fucking funny. I thought, this breaks my own rule. So I logged it. Maybe we'll talk about it. And then I went into something else. I thought, this is a movie I've always wanted to see from a director that I've seen a few a few selections from his filmography, and I threw this bad boy on. And about halfway through, I thought, wow, this is an absolute fucking bloodbath. I'm making a category for this. Then I finished the movie and I thought, what the fuck was that? And I thought, do I readjust and go back to my previous list? And I thought, no. Because I want to talk about this with somebody. And who better than my two best dudes?
Oh.
So let's give you the category first. I like metal music. It's loud, it's progressive, it taps in to feelings and emotions that I have as a large man with a lot of anger and likes to lift heavy things. Common in metal music is a lyrical love of things mystical and warrior and bloodlust and honor and wizards and beards and dragons and death and hell. Some pretty hardcore imagery within metal. And that's the category. It's called Metal as Hell. Pick a fucking movie that you could see being a metal song or has imagery of metal music. It could be man fighting dragon. It could be an adventure story. It could take place in some faraway land. It could be about Vikings, right? Metal as hell. That's it. Pretty wide open category. Fantasy, adventure, historical. Do whatever, man. And to kick us off, I think I'm picking something that is a little bit more heady than I was prepared for. Now, given this director, should have been right there. But like I said, first part of this movie, holy fuck. We're going to 2009. From Nicholas Winding Refn, and we're watching Valhalla Rising with Mads Mikkelsen. Now, neither of you have logged this.
I haven't seen it.
I thought you owned this, Dan.
Valhalla Rising? No.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you...
Have you seen it, Kron?
No, I've never seen this.
It's metal as fuck. Now, there's a relatively popular movie that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that was, I'd always kind of had like a metal as hell, like imagery sort of category, but I thought, nah, I'll do that for something else. So this sort of sucked it up. A few of our buddies, like our podcast buddies, Letterbox followers, not as many as I would have thought have seen this. It's only at a 3.3. It's structured in a very interesting way. My intent is to maybe switch up the plot breakdowns. I think we're probably going to have very quick plot rundown from me, and then maybe some open discussion as we go through these parts. It is available on Pluto. The rip was not that bad when I watched it on Pluto. It is also available to rent. It is or is he? What is he? Is he Dutch or Danish? Refn, you would know as the director of Drive and Only God Forgives, and Bronson.
And that weird Amazon show that he made.
Oh yeah, with Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it and did not make it very far.
Danish, so Denmark. So, but it's still in English. I get the vibe that maybe they shot the dialogue both Danish and English. So don't worry about that. There's not a ton of dialogue. So feels almost like a movie that you could strip. I mean, there's very, very little. So that's it. I mean, dragons, castles, rolling hills, battles. If it makes you think, wow, this is metal as hell, I will consider it.
I don't know if I want to focus on metal or hell. Maybe I'll just throw a curveball and pick as.
Did you write that 3 minutes ago?
I didn't even write it, but
okay.
Who knows? Who knows which word I'll pick to focus on for this category?
I hope it's L. Maybe you do Elsa for Frozen.
I could do L, the movie from
Verhoeven.
Yeah, Verhoeven.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No.
L.
Nope.
What do you mean I can't? I couldn't veto.
I picked a puppet movie.
Well, you didn't pick a revenge movie.
Dan, do you recall when he relayed the category that it had to be revenge?
And Dan didn't pick one either. I don't know why you're asking him.
We're at 3 hours and 40 minutes.
I'm pretty sure, like Big Rig's revenge, we weren't held to the standard of it had to be a big rig seeking revenge.
Well, and you don't have to, because that was...
I met that category, by the way.
That was revenge for Big Rigs Are Back. But this was Revenge 5, the Revenge of Puppets Revenge.
You didn't have any
Clearly
revenge in Penn, so shut the fuck up.
Penn killed Terry O'Quinn.
We don't know that.
I know it.
Killing is not revenge.
The impact of the car crash killed Terry O'Quinn. Not fucking Penn.
Because Penn scared him so much.
I think it was his wife. He probably fucking crashed it himself.
I'm picking L.
Come back next week. Valhalla Rising. Mads Mikkelsen. Refn. 2009. Available on Pluto. For Laundry Dan, for Kron Howard, this has been the Non-Puppet Podcast, 5 Day Rentals. And with that, I say buddies forever.
Buddies forever.
Buddies forever.